Good morning, everybody. I know it feels like a month since we were here last, but it's only been a couple of days, and it is Wednesday. James Flex Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday today. Who knows? I mean, yesterday I was talking to somebody, and I actually had to think very hard. Like, what's the date? What's the day? What the fuck am I doing? Who am I? Who am I? You know,
No fish.
after all these public holidays, I'm delighted this morning to have two of my favorite people here in the studio with us. They've got a little show they want to tell us about. Among other things, they are none other than the supremely talented and brilliant Jason and Nicholas Goliath. No relation. Know them well, cousins. But there we go.
Aww.
That's so kind.
Nice to see you, Oaks.
That is
So
so
good
kind.
to
So
see
nice
you
to
too.
see you.
Yeah, man. And I know how busy you've both been, so I really appreciate you making time, especially after all these weird public holidays. I was bitching and complaining just now. I said to Nicholas, listen, you can tell after winter. You can tell after Easter, winter's here.
Yeah.
And
You
I
can
think
hear
there's
it
rain
outside now.
going on now. But on the way in this morning, there was lightning and thunder, and I'm like,
But it was that other end of the world, lightning and thunder.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah,
that normal. Because
yeah.
we have Joburg
Lightning
lightning and thunder.
that shit that
Then-
lights everything up.
Yeah, that's where you
like
start
the zombie
thinking,
apocalypse.
what did I do?
You
What
wonder if
have
you
I
were
done?
speeding. Start looking for the cameras on the side of the road. Like,
Did you have
damn it. Yeah.
a nice long weekend with the family? Did you work? What did you guys get up to?
I had a lazy weekend. I did nothing.
Really?
I spent some family time on Friday. Did the Good Friday thing. Watched my family eat seafood because I don't do seafood. And then the rest of the weekend I was just with my wife and kids at home. Just proper home family time. Nice.
It was such a weird weekend because I also did like Thursday night, Friday night, Sunday, Monday. I did nothing. On Saturday, I saw some friends, but that was it. And otherwise, it was very wholesome. And you could tell we're getting old as well. It used to be
proper.
like if you saw a long weekend in your 20s, you'd be like, yes, I'm going to be hungover at the end of that.
I
I
used to plan
slept.
my off days because I'm like, sick days are coming because I never plan my leave.
Yeah.
And then I always see the long week and I'm like, damn it, I should have put in 3 days for this week and then just take the 3 days anyway.
No, I slept. I did Good Friday with the family.
Mhm.
Then I caught like a sinus thing
Ach, I know.
from too many flights last week. And
First
then
world
I went to
problems.
bed Friday night. I woke up Monday. I can't describe it better than that. I
Wow.
slept the whole. I woke up Saturday. Got out of bed maybe at 5 because my wife forced me to eat something. Got back into bed at 8. Slept again like it was the first sleep.
You must know his wife had to
Sleep.
force him to eat something.
Sleep. No, then you know. Then you know it was DEFCON.
But
That's how
hang
she
on.
knows.
If you sleep that long, do you also like you wake up and your back is almost sore because it's like not used to being.
I took a cataflam
Yeah.
Sunday morning. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? At our age,
Oh,
Nicholas's
man.
best friend
Yeah.
had a shoulder operation because he fell asleep wrong on the couch. That's the age we are. That is the greatest description of the age we are. Right? Shout out, fell asleep wrong. So literally woke up Sunday in pain, took a cataflam, reset. Someone hit 2 myprodols. I was like, I haven't had alcohol. I might as well
I
double
didn't
up.
approve
Hmm.
your secrets coming out like that, Ray. I'm sorry.
No, Ray, it's the
That
truth.
you've
We know,
been exposed
we know
like
your
this.
motor plan is expired, bruh. We
Mm.
know, Ray, you're out of motor plan, dog. It is what it is.
Listen, it's also a weird weekend. If you were Catholic, the Pope died,
Yo.
which was very, very
Too much of a coincidence, huh?
Yeah, on Good Friday, eh?
I thought it died Sunday. Was it Good Friday?
I think. Well,
Because I thought it was like a
How do
tag.
we know
didn't he
that
see
it wasn't?
JD
Jesus
Vance
came
as
back,
well?
Pope went out. Like it was tag in, tag
Yeah,
out.
JD Vance flew in and then suddenly he was dead.
But JD Vance, that guy's suspicious, huh? That guy is one of the most suspicious characters on earth for me. And I'm not even a politics guy. You know I don't follow. But JD Vance, I'm just like my guy. I would love to see in your fridge. Yo. Right, JD Vance.
Oh, do you think he's creepy?
No, I think it's, remember we had that
It's
Bloom
Pope
with
parts.
the cookies in his freezer.
Yeah, yeah.
I will not put JD Vance has got things you can't describe.
Correct.
You'll say, no, it's just Chinese leftovers. In the meantime, it's
Ooh.
Chinese.
Oh.
All right, so
That is
stop
too-
all this
Too
old.
far, so
Biasen in the comments says, stop all this old talk. Bitcoin But says, soon Gareth will get guests on to talk about back pain. Listen, don't pretend you don't have any of this cuck going on.
What's those name?
Yeah.
Biasen or Bitcoin But?
No, who
Bitcoin
complained about the
boot.
back pain? Bitcoin boot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bitcoin boot.
He's
That's
sitting
your
in
name,
front,
we know, Papa.
in front of his laptop, hunched over with his carpal tunnel syndrome, trying to collect his Bitcoin.
That's how his pharmacist sees him and goes, gout concoction? Bitcoin boot. You said the whole day, we know you
His
ate.
toes are always up like this. thumbs up in the world. Bitcoin
Now,
put.
here's a good point from Desperate Housewife.
Yes,
She sends
how's
us at 6:06 in the morning. You
Yeah.
just note, this is really
That's-
pissing her off.
She's
Yeah.
really
She said,
desperate.
can we please call for all plugs, charging cables, and power cables to be standardized? Traveling abroad, and it's a whole bag of different ones for different devices and countries. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds like a stupid problem to have, but geez, I have to carry a bag of cables, different plugs, different things. And you never remember which country has which plug if you're traveling overseas. And even here, I sometimes want to charge this thing, and I'm like, USB-C. Now, which one's that?
Yeah, that's how old we are.
And then
Oh,
you've got
all
the
the
USB.
one.
Yes, you've got the
Or the
USB.
USB,
head.
the original
Oh.
USB.
We know this one. We know this one.
Yeah.
You know that one where you don't even
We know
understand.
this
Yeah.
one.
Here's a top tip for your life, Desperate Housewife. You need to find reasons to be grateful. Then that problem you have is a problem of gratitude. There are
First
people
world.
that don't even know there are different plugs. There's
Yeah.
people who are living a Mobicel life now that don't know HD exists on a phone. First of all, you got a passport and your problem is you travel so much. Oh my God, these cables.
Yes.
Then I'm just like, look at it as,
Right.
oh my goodness, I
Yeah.
got such a lucker problem. Yes, it's
Yeah.
frustrating, I agree. I got such a lucker problem. Then get your life together. You're a housewife. You don't have much to do. Buy a kit. You get a kit now. Then it's a universal, all the plugs in one. You operate with that thing. You keep it
And
with
it's
your passport.
retractable. Those things you pull out.
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah,
retracts
no,
back in. It's one like
listen.
little compact.
In some ways, I'm actually pleased that they've changed all of it to these new USB-Cs because now everything does
I feel
kind
like we
of
are standardized.
Almost
We're
for
going
it
into-
to,
we're going
for it to
into-
work.
Yeah.
Desperate Housewife, before you kill yourself, we are headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Hanging from
Yeah,
all your
see,
cables.
Even Apple is Samsung now.
Yeah, exactly. So things are starting to come right.
Oh.
Listen, it's an amazing thing here. I mean, you're right. These are like not serious problems. These are good problems to have.
Yeah.
It's like when you realize you talk to someone you haven't seen for a while and you hear about their divorce and their debt and the fact that the house is going to go and the kids hate him or whatever.
Perspective.
And you go,
Perspective.
I'll have my problems. Thank you. I
Yeah.
thought I had problems compared to this.
Perspective.
Yeah.
I've been quoting the great Stuart Taylor, who did a gag he posted the other day, and it was one of those where where comedians can take such a serious thing and make it sound so simple. And he just said, "Yo, guys, I have a problem. If you're gonna come for me in the comments, come for me. But if you feel sad, just hang out with people that are fatter than you." And then I was like, "That's such a simple sentence, but
It
it
works.
really
It works.
not a bad plan."
Did you wonder?
If you feel down, your
Fatter people
friends are
than
not
you.
fat enough.
Did it make you understand why Stuart always phones you when he's in town?
Yes, but it also helps me understand why you hang out with me. But still, I'm here to spread joy and cholesterol.
All right. So listen, talking about exactly that. The thing that you're doing is called the Happiness Economy Comedy Tour.
Yes.
Okay. I don't want us to get into a psychological assessment of what happiness is because I know that would bore everyone to death,
Yeah.
including you two and me
Yeah.
and the audience. But
Yeah.
I do think that happiness is such a complicated thing. You know, it's even enshrined in like the U.S. Declaration of Independence. They go, you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
The pursuit.
So you must seek happiness.
Yes.
And then I listen to modern philosophers, a lot of these pod bros and, you know, people who you read articles and op-eds about what happiness means and is happiness a good goal within itself? And again, I don't want to turn this into a massive analysis first thing in the morning. But the idea is that either happiness is not a good enough goal on its own. That's what some people tell you.
Oh, yeah.
It's a stupid, childish, meaningless, ethereal thing that you can't actually get your you don't know when you're there.
Yeah.
And then there's these people who tell you that joy and happiness are different things. And you get the other end of the spectrum who say, no, actually, if you can just say, I'm happy, you're winning at life. And I don't know which ones are right. What do you guys think before? I mean, you called it this, the happiness economy. I like that there's economy in there as well.
Because we got to pay the debit orders.
Yeah. No, we got to get that sponsorship money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where does this come from, though?
It came from COVID. COVID hit. it obliterated everything.
Well,
We
you
were
guys
all
were like the
ignorant.
central tent peg in the comedy world at that point.
It-
You'd opened up venues.
we were pumping
You were keeping the comedy world not just alive, but healthy.
as best we could.
Yeah.
As best we could. And then something comes in that no one could have predicted and wipes us out. And then we saw the diaries die. And then you kind of went through that first 21 days of feeling like, okay, it's over. You know what I mean? It's over. And then I must be honest, I had this like deep feeling down in my heart where I was like, at least I got to do it. Like there's so many people that didn't get to do it, and live entertainment is gone forever because it was doom and gloom. Then I've always been obsessing about happiness, and I had this sum in my mind that was like, in my 20s, I always just, was obsessed with being happy, and I believed that money would make me happy. So I had the sum was success equals happiness. And if I were the more successful I'd be, the happier I would become. Then I found comedy in my 30s, and it changed the sum to the same sum, but the equal sign. I was just reading it wrong. So happiness equals success. So instead of chasing the money, chase the happy, and by virtue of the sum, I'd make it. And it was just something that wouldn't let me go. So then Nick and I had nothing to do. And we spent the whole of COVID just trying to unpack, okay, what is this happiness? Exactly like you try to do now. Why are we all chasing it? Why in a room full of people, if you ask what happiness is or what makes you happy, hardly anybody can give you a straight answer. Those that are giving you an answer, give you a cut and paste answer. My kids, my wife, you know what I mean? Things that you can't.
And worse, a lot of people will tell you exactly why they're unhappy.
Absolutely.
Which
Very
is,
easy to
it's
identify.
like the worst conversation you want to end up in because, hey, we've all got problems. But I'm interested in whether you think people, and again, making people laugh is a way to make them happy, even if it's momentarily. Right?
But that's what we realized. So we start this podcast to ask people,
Yeah.
as many people as we could, people who we think are happy, people who show us on social media that they're happy. We say, come and let's interrogate this happiness. So then we start this podcast just to interrogate this happiness. Let's understand this thing, to see if we can't, because nowadays everybody uses the data. So you collect the data, you speak to as many people as possible, you collect the data points, and then maybe you have an answer. So after like 40 episodes of this podcast, what we figured out is happiness does not exist the way we all think it exists. Happiness only exists right now. It only exists in this second, in this moment. Like you hear things of it's about the destination, all of those cliched long things, and they all are in some way true, but it only exists in the now.
Right.
So how do you then achieve that? How do you get there? And then we came up with this comedy show to go, okay, if happiness only exists in the now and it doesn't exist the way we think it exists, is there a formula that you can live, something that you can learn to apply every day to live the happiest possible version of your life? You know what I mean? To have more happy nows, to feel more okay now. So like when I make that thing about the story about the cables, then I'm like, you just flip a perspective.
Yeah.
Just flip your perspective every now and then. Give yourself a different lens and try to seek out that feel good rather than that feel bad, because the feel bad is generally loud.
And we're also in a space where that cable situation becomes the biggest problem in your life.
100%.
It becomes the thing that drives you crazy, that frustrates you, that makes you angry. You live off of this cable thing. When, like we said, you change the perspective, you get to travel the world. Most people never leave the country. You get to travel the world. Stop focusing on the problem and look at the fact that you get to do what other people don't do. Because also we believe that happiness is not I feel like the English has restricted us to believe that happiness is a specific thing. But I think it's different for everybody. Like what makes me happy is going to be different for you, for everybody out there, for Bitcoin. But and you've got to I feel like that understanding that it's different is the first step in actually getting to your happiness, to know what you're looking for. Because nobody teaches us how to look for happiness.
We almost
what makes us
agree
happy.
that peace is the closest word that you can get to. Because we are two miserable people, Nicholas and I. We're in a very bad mood. I'm very grumpy that it's 2025. Gareth Cliff still wants to wake up at 6 o'clock. We can record this bloody podcast any time of the day. This guy still wants to wake up.
It's ludicrous
at this time of the day. So we are grumpy people. But in that grumpiness, how do you live the best version of your life? And it's peace. So it's not just about happy clappy, laughing all the time, smiling all the time.
Yeah. And the worst is that you get those people who pretend that they're happy. They're passive aggressive with happiness.
Those are the saddest.
Are those not what do they call it? Toxic positivity.
Yeah,
those are the toxic positive.
That's a big thing now. In fact, there are people writing articles and all kinds of things about this toxic positivity. You know, you go into an office and then people are super, super nice to each other and they're pretending everything is fantastic when everybody knows the economy's in shit. There's no money coming in and all that kind of thing. That's a problem.
Yeah, your tires are smooth, but you're walking in there with confidence.
Listen, yesterday I had to go and have a tire because I had this fucking tire that kept going flat. And I thought, I got to go and sort this out. Right? So I woke up extra early. I was first in the queue there.
You got to do adult things.
So all 4 of my rims were a little bit buckled because of potholes, right?
Of course.
No, this is not a complaint.
It is what it is.
I'll tell you how it was resolved. The one had to be welded again.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff happened yesterday. But yes, I was pleased when I got into that car and I knew that they were all working.
Smooth.
And I know this, one tire would have cost, 8,000 Rand or whatever. On most cars these days, tires are ridiculous. I didn't have to replace any tires. It only cost me $3,900.
You didn't have to replace any tires because you got good tires in the first place.
That's good, right?
Yes. That's incredible.
Good. I walked out and look, you don't want to be $4,000 down on any given day. But I walked out of there going, it's okay. I can bear this one. I'll swallow.
But when you were going in expecting 32 grand and you come out 4 grand,
that's a hallelujah.
You won the lotto.
So you talk about the smooth tires, but I do find that people also, especially in the context, you mentioned peace just now. Like we do have better lives now than any of our ancestors ever had.
In the history of history.
Imagine shitting before toilets.
Imagine, as a fat person, it's different. It's squatting for me and squatting for you. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Now I'm babalas, I slip, I'm falling in the caca. It's not, this is not the same. It's not the same.
But imagine not having running water. And I know this is a problem in some parts of the country still to this day, believe it or not. I know that there are little things like you consider that when you go to a shop, you know, again, our ancestors, they'd have to go and hunt, or they would have had to grow shit a week, 2 weeks, months before, and hope that it was ready in time and that the winter didn't kill it, and that animals didn't come and get it. And these things that I think we've become a bit soft where and again, Desperate Housewife, this is not a dig at you because you've given us the entree to talk about this.
Yes, thank you.
It's easy to be human now compared to any other time. And we've got lots of things that have made us soft. And now the little thing fucks us up. You start your day
becomes
and
a huge
thing. Oh, my cable won't fucking go into my phone properly. Fuck, it's the wrong cable. Right? My day's a disaster. I know people like that. I know people, if they get one red robot on the way in, whole day's screwed.
So we talk about the fact like that's your choice. You have the choice. That red robot, you can let it upset you. And I in the show, the first version of the show, I spoke about the fact that we drive every day on Joburg's roads. You know that there's a taxi going to cut you off. You know that somebody's going to brake in front of you. And when it happens, we lose our damn minds. We hoot, we swear. The taxi driver hears fuck all. Because he goes to sleep with the sound of
because he's carrying the economy on his back. He's busy.
You know, he doesn't. He hears nothing. You're so frustrated because it makes you more angry that he didn't look at you, so you couldn't swear at him and show him your frustration. And you drive with that anger, and you get to the office, and you walk in, and the receptionist makes a joke with you, like the receptionist makes a joke with you every day. But because today you were cut off by the taxi, you turn around and you go footsack, and you tell the receptionist cuck, and it changes her energy, and the next person who walks in gets that energy from the receptionist. And it's just a cycle
of
that
cuck.
We're just creating more and more cuck because of a taxi driver that didn't even realize you were there. He doesn't even know there's other cars on the road.
So Nick's favorite comment is that 5% rule. We didn't make it up, but it's out there. Life is 5% what happens, 95% how you react.
Yes.
Again, 5% what happened, 95% how you react. Then you in charge of how you react. But I do feel like if we were back then where it was Boskak vibes and you found yourself a cave and your cave happened to be on a cliff with like a long drop situation, I would wake up every morning jealous of your cave because I'd see you fucking like
that. We would.
So then I'm saying that it doesn't matter how good it becomes. As long as somebody has it softer than you, we suffer from that disease of comparison.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what time of humanity you go back to. As long as somebody was like, hey, man, why have I been wiping my ass with cactus? Nicholas is wiping his ass with grass. Look at how soft Nicholas's ass is. I hate cactus. Then somebody's like, it's the aloe vera properties. Then you're like, no. You're not exfoliating your grass. You know what I mean? No. So it's like that comparison, I think, through the history of humanity has caused this same problem that we're talking about right now.
Okay, so lots of people still giving me cuck about paying my TV license. I did this thing a while ago, which I didn't really. I know.
Okay. No, let me hear your story.
No,
I also have a story.
The audience always giving me cuck about this because I admitted
that you
I needed to buy. No, so my domestic worker needed a TV.
Yeah.
And you can't buy one
without
a
a
license.
Very clever.
So I thought, well, okay, I'm also sick of getting their emails and their fucking phone calls.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me pay it, which I did. Total waste of money, obviously.
Completely.
But I did it and I admitted it on the show, which I should never have done because now I just get the piss taken out of me every other week. So Signet says, all because you paid your TV license. It's the right thing to do. just go to hell.
We like you.
All right,
we like you, Signet.
I like you, but I'm offended because I also paid my TV license.
Your TV license.
Haven't seen SABC even when I drive past the
makes
building.
it, do you remember that old TV license makes it possible?
Yeah.
That was, yes, there's some bad
Now
stuff.
we're older.
Possible.
Judas says, joy, on the other hand, is a more long-lasting state of being characterized by contentment and satisfaction with life overall. Okay, so we can talk about a difference between joy and happiness, which I think I indicated at the beginning of this. But the thing I wanted to get to as well is that this idea of comparing yourself with how other people are, and I see so much of it every day, and you can have all the money, or you can have all the, I don't know, the good looks, you could have all the opportunities career-wise that you could ever wish for. And there are lots of people who have those things and they're still unhappy, right? They still don't know how to make themselves happy. They sit looking miserable the whole time. They don't really enjoy their lives. When other people come up and say, hey, how's it going? They moan about all the cuck things.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably worse than having nothing and being happy. Like I almost, and trust me, there have been times in my life where I've had fuck all.
Yeah.
And fuck all to be happy about.
Yeah.
But I've been happy. And it's almost like the decision to be happy comes first. You said it just now. And then after that, success in all the other areas will come. Do you think that's true, or is that just bullshit?
I think it's absolutely true. One of my greatest mentors in life, and I'm sure I've said this to you before, is David Kibuka.
Yeah.
Who's a great South African comedian, still executive producer on The Daily Show. Go, David.
Amazing.
And David once said to me, he said, hey, man, sometimes life is very, very simple. Sometimes if you're not feeling lekker, and to take away everything that you think you need, everything that, we all think is going to make us happy, then he said, sometimes just do a stock take of what you actually need right now. And then he said, if you just do a stock take of what you actually need right now, 99 times out of 100 times, you need nothing. Then I said, hey, bro, explain this thing to me. Then he said, okay, right now, this is 2:00 in the morning after a comedy show. We're sitting in a bar. He says to me, what do you need right now? I said, well, I need petrol in my car and a battery that's working to get home. He's like, check, I got that. He's like, I need battery life on my phone.
Yeah.
And airtime, got that. He's like, you need a drink? I said, I got a drink. He said, well, what else do you need right now? I said, bro, I got good conversation. I got a drink. I got a way home. I got ways for the police. I actually
sorted
right this second
happy.
I don't need anything. Then he's like, it's about managing your lens and knowing when you must zoom all the way in and when you must zoom all the way out. And the more you can manage that lens, the happier you're gonna be. So you got to stay in focus, which makes like sense if you try and think about it in that way. But sometimes if you're too zoomed in, all you see is this problem.
Yeah.
Then you got to zoom out a bit to go, actually, this cable is not a problem. You know what I mean? Actually, the cable, so you zoom out, oh, there's a passport next to the cable.
So now Desperate Housewives question's been answered to some degree of accuracy here. It's the best we can do. I saw such a clever thing yesterday on the internet. I will give credit to whoever sent it to me once I look it up. But there's this guy, I think he's a comedian or a preacher, because you can tell the difference these days. And he goes up on stage and he goes,
one-page text. That's how
my grandmother said that there are only two kinds of people. The first kind of people worry about what's going to happen. Other kind of people don't have problems. He goes, only question you need to ask yourself is, am I sick or am I healthy? If you're healthy, you don't have any problems.
Yeah.
If you're sick, there are two things that you need to worry about. You need to answer this question. First one is, am I going to get better or am I going to get worse? If you're going to get better, you don't have any problems. If you're going to get worse, there are two kinds of problems you have to answer. First one, am I going to die? Am I going to live? If you're going to live, you don't have any problems.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to die, there are two kinds of problems you have. First one, am I going to heaven or am I going to hell?
Yeah.
So he goes, if you're going to heaven, you don't have any problems. If you're going to hell, you have two kinds of problems. He goes, original or extra crispy? I love it so much.
It's so simple, but it's also in those bits I find absolute truth.
Yeah.
And I think that's why professors hate comedians.
Yeah, they
Because
do.
you're going to write a
You
whole
cut through
library
the
of
cut.
books,
Yeah.
and then a comedian is going to say, you got two types of problems.
Exactly. I mean, that guy's just sorted out
Done.
everything. So now I'm going to approach every decision in my life from that point of view. Am I sick? Am I healthy? Because again, I've said this a million times on the show, and probably people are sick of me saying it. But when you're sick, when you said you picked up something over the weekend, when you're sick, nothing else matters. But when you're healthy, you don't remember to be grateful that you're healthy or that,
Fact.
oh my God, I'm not sick.
Fact.
And your life is just like, oh no, I'll add other problems to it.
But the thing is,
This is the time to think about the
Fact.
overdraft. You
because
know?
we speak often about the fact that nobody teaches us how to look for our happiness, how to even understand our happiness. And that, I think, is the biggest problem, is because there's no understanding, we have to find something to do with our time, with our energy. And that's why we start looking for the small things that are giving us problems, that are driving us crazy, so that it gives us something to do. And I feel like social media and the just media in general perpetuates that story and allows us to,
listen,
like, it's trendy to have mental
if I'd
illness.
asked either of you, I mean, you're younger than I am, but you would have been there for that very important nexus where the real world and the virtual world came at each other 50-50. And you see kids now who are growing up 70% online. 70% of their personality, their character, their avatar, the thing they do, the thing they care about is what's going on online, right? So these are problems that we can talk about, but I'm really curious about if you could go back to, let's say, 2005, 6, somewhere around there. Just before it became
I was drunk.
like full on.
Yeah.
You know, and you could look up stuff on the internet. There were short porn clips or whatever, but they were you had to use that modem that went beep.
No, also they took long to load
Those
that
ones.
areola first before nipple.
And then
You
you'd
couldn't
see
get the whole
you'd
thing.
eventually see the
Yes.
tit after like 10 minutes of sitting in front of
Yes.
the
Yeah, you must warm yourself up again.
But
Like, I lost
if
steam.
you could go back to then, knowing the amount of mental health issues that would come, because I often say, and it's a problem because I don't think it's very considerate or empathetic of me, but there's this explosion of mental health problems, right?
Yeah.
Some of it is just attention seeking.
Yeah.
And it's become a way to identify yourself if you have no character.
100%.
But that's how I was saying.
Right?
Like, it's trendy to have issues.
There's another part of it that is a very real thing. If I were growing up now, there's no guarantee I'd be a reasonably balanced, and I don't think I am, but a reasonably balanced individual who worries about actual things I can do something about and doesn't get caught up in the shit that I can't do anything about, because that's a big distinction.
Yeah.
And if we could go back, I almost wonder if you'd want to subject humanity to having to see other people posting their best lives on Instagram and making
Ignorance.
everyone else feel cuck. Because that's what it is.
Switch the internet off.
Ignorance is bliss. I think it's Chappelle who does a bit about in 1998. You could move 11 kilometers and start a new life.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You could like our
Yes.
circles were
God.
so tiny. So I think it's information overload. I think we have far too much access from far too early to far too much, which we already warriors. I think people that worry as humanity. Then I think it was Bill Burr who said it so nicely, was I would definitely go back, because he was like, people said, the interviewer goes, you got a very unique way of looking at life. And he said, yes, I'm okay. And then they go, well, what does that mean? And he goes, well, I'm okay right now because I don't have any problems right now. And then he said, and then he said, no, when problems come, then I won't be okay. But I refuse to be one of those people that's gonna ruin my okay right now because of possible problems that might come. Now we have all of this access to all of these problems that we absolutely cannot solve, where just knowing the details of families in your street was already too much.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the 80s. You just knew what was happening with the neighbors because you could hear so-and-so fighting. Already that was too much because now are my parents also going to fight? Now I've got access to all the parents on earth. It's too much.
I mean, here's an example. Have you got that thing, the Kanye thing? Just pop that on screen quickly. Just look at this. This is something we didn't need to know. Kanye West says he sucked his cousin dick till he was 14 years old. This is what Kanye is telling us now. This guy obviously has serious problems, but, you know, he's in some ways like this guy.
I'm surprised it took him so long to tell us.
I want to know.
He's been saving this one. He's been saving this.
Did you wait till? Did it happen till his cousin was 14 or till he was? Because there's lots wrong with all of the.
Yeah, it's a very disturbing. But you know what the funny thing is? It's like, again, 10 years ago, that would have been a headline for like weeks.
Yeah.
Now I can promise you by tomorrow, no one gives two shits about Kanye and his cousin.
Bruh, no one gave a shit today. Like on the date came out, no one gave a shit. Didn't you see that thing on April Fools where people are like, April Fools is ruined because actually you can't come up with a prank crazier than the actual headlines today. You know what I mean? So then people are like, oh, Kanye sucked his cousin dick. He's like, I also went off milk at 14. Keep scrolling. You know what I mean? You're just like, you just keep moving. It's terrible how desensitized.
Well, here's something that came up yesterday that I thought was so funny when I saw it, and then by last night, it was already expired, like the milk that goes sour. So this is two people were interviewed. They're twins. There was an incident in, I think, Sydney. Did you see this thing?
Hijacking or the
Something.
robbery.
Did you see the story?
Talking together.
Okay, so anybody who hasn't, because I mean, it was expired by last night, but when I found it yesterday morning, I watched it 3 times. I could not believe that this wasn't rehearsed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
These twins, you've got to see how these people. They finish each other's sentences. Well, they actually speak in parallel.
They're not themselves if they don't.
It's very weird. And I've heard about how twins are sometimes
connected,
telepathically connected. But there's something fucking weird going on here. I promise you, I watched this 3 times. I could watch it again. We're going to. For those who've seen it already, by last night it was already old news. But here it is. You got to watch this.
Witnesses are recounting some of the drama that unfolded on the Sunshine Coast this afternoon. 2 sisters have told how their mother and man raced to help when the carjacked SUV rolled on Steve Irwin Way, only to find the gun-wielding car thief emerging from the wreck. Here's some of what they had to say.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum, and he went up there. And he was coming back down towards us, and he goes, "Run! He's got a gun!" And our heart started to pound. And I said, "Oh, Mum, where's Mum?" And poor Mum was stuck up there. But apparently, our brave Mum, she goes, "Are you all right?"
Because he had all blood
all over his face. And he goes, "I'll shoot you." She goes, "Hey, I'm here to help."
And Mum distracted him to make him look the other way, and he looked the other way, and Mum ran into the bush
behind the fence. And the guy goes to her, "I'll find you and I'll shoot you." All I was thinking about when we were running, I hope he doesn't fire. Yeah, we were so blessed.
How close to him do you think you were?
Well, see, he was up there, and we were past our driveway.
You don't think of all of that at the time. No, you just run for your life, dear.
For your life, dear.
Can I just say, like this? So firstly, I want to say, I feel like the story is twice as long as it needs to be, because they're both trying to add and finish, and then also like if they should start a band and call it In Sync.
It's far too early, Nicholas.
No?
No, it's far too early to that.
That was
I'm
not a
already
good ad
struggling.
for your comedy show.
I am already struggling. Listen, not all the jokes are funny, especially
Listen.
the free ones. They can just be for us.
What's
Yeah.
going on there? Seriously,
Oh.
is that like an episode of The Shining? I mean, I'm not sure whether I've missed anything here.
Because first you think that they're acting, because then you just think the one is just watching, like
They
I would be
dress
watching
the
you
same.
and mimicking.
Yes.
But then they take over mid-sentence and continue. Then they change who's following. And then
I'm
it's-
going to shoot you.
No, but I love the
I-
excitement when they realize they're saying the same thing, because there are moments where the one is excited and the other one is happy. Then
but
you're like,
it's the same thing, same tone,
yes.
same pace. No, bruh, that is freaky. The mother was trying to jump in front of the gun to get away.
Yeah, I mean, first of all,
Yeah.
that mother must be quite something too.
No, I'm telling you.
She raised
a
those kids.
patient woman.
Yeah,
She has nothing but she's a kind-hearted human.
must
No,
be.
an impatient woman. I don't have time for two stories. Combine everything.
Maybe she jumped.
Don't have
maybe
time.
She was hoping the guy would shoot her so she could be rid of these fucking
Exactly.
children.
That's what I'm saying. So trying to sacrifice herself. One bullet.
I just don't understand. I mean, this is the
Oh.
kind of thing that I love about the internet. This is
Yes.
I love this
Yes.
because
We would never have known about this.
no, you
existed.
would have heard a story from someone and these
You'd have
twins
gone,
and they talk at the same time and you would have thought,
No.
but here you see it happening. Now, there's a small possibility, and I don't want to ruin the fun I'm getting out of that clip
Yeah.
by trying to figure out whether they're putting it on or not, because I want to believe it's real.
I don't think they're putting it
I
on.
want to believe it's real.
The more I watch it, the more I do not think that they are putting it on. And the more impressed I am by it, actually. Because it's damn impressive. And it's because there's not one leader. If one of them was just leading and the other one was echoing, that's a different story. But that's not what's going on there.
Yeah.
So Lee says
That's a
the
real
one has a
Bluetooth
bad signal. One is MTN, the other is Cell C.
That's hilarious. 3G and 5G. I'm sure that's their nicknames.
Oh,
Oh, that's so great.
hilarious.
All right, so there's another thing I want you to see. There's big noise being made, and people have got no patience for the kind of PR stunt bullshit that used to
Oh.
happen, again, 10, 15 years ago, where we were all corralled and forced to acknowledge something wonderful and historic has happened when it actually isn't historic or wonderful and it's fucking stupid, and we pay zero attention to it these days. And you can't pull this stuff anymore. You cannot do this and expect to be taken seriously. What I'm talking about is the celebrity fun flight into the ionosphere or whatever it was that Katy Perry and Gayle King and all these women did. So first thing is, I saw this very clever picture. Someone saying, unwanted Amazon delivery gets returned from space, right? With the picture of the capsule.
Funny.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, Amazon space returns unwanted Amazon
Funny.
delivery. Second one was a serious feminist on a British TV show complaining about how the rocket looks like a penis. But she's deadly serious. She's got a major problem with this. She agrees probably with us that it was a stupid stunt to do.
Vaginas are just as aerodynamic.
Yeah, that's what she. This is what
That's
she's
what she
going.
was-
This is what she's going at. So here, and this interviewer, to his credit, I think she's only on the phone, but you can guess what she looks like.
Your
He's-
face.
he's
Your
trying-
face is so beautiful.
He's trying very hard to take her seriously. And here, this is the sort of shit we have to listen to. And I mean, I really thought that by now we'd be over this cuck of like feminism and the
Oh,
first
no, we're
woman to
never
do this,
gonna
first
get-
all-female crew in space. And by the way, they weren't. Gayle King did not invent any part of that rocket. Neither did Katy Perry. And no scientific experiments were done, as far as I can tell.
No, she invented
Jeff
the invoice.
Bezos' girlfriend. I don't know that she was doing like weightlessness testing of liquid thermodynamics or whatever. This was a complete fun roller coaster ride, and they screamed the whole way up and screamed the whole way down, as you would expect teenage
Yes.
girls to do. Nothing was learned.
Yeah, they
Except-
went on a roller coaster.
Like what
That's
except
what they
that
did.
these girls,
The slingshot.
yeah, and these girls
Yeah.
have embarrassed any girl who would want to be an astronaut one day, because they don't need to see Katy Perry to take astrophysics
Absolutely.
seriously.
No, but also there
Yeah.
are female astronauts that have got zero publicity, that have
Yes.
gone through years
Exact-
of engineering and done
You know what?
the work.
unbelievable
Jason,
world
I was
firsts.
forced to go and look into this because I was so annoyed.
Thank you.
And there were already all female crews on board spaceships in the 60s and 70s.
Thank you.
Okay. And we don't know their names. and nobody cares, but suddenly we have to listen to the chick who sang Firework, and she gets off the fucking thing and kisses the ground. It is just outrageous. Anyway, here's the feminist on TV. You got to see this first so you can get a little bit annoyed, and then I'll make you laugh.
Are we?
Setting thing, I think, is the shape of the rocket. It was obviously phallic, and I found it self-indulgent and disgusting, quite honestly.
Is that? I mean, surely they would work out the best shape for space flight, Yvonne. It wouldn't be all with that thought in their head, otherwise it wouldn't work. It wouldn't fly.
I've never seen a rocket shaped like this before.
I mean, they're all kind of phallic to a certain extent, aren't they?
This is especially phallic.
Okay. Let's focus on the crew. Or were they crew or were they passengers, Yvonne? The six
they
women
were
on
passengers.
that. They were passengers.
They were just passengers. Yeah, they weren't crew.
Why are they not entitled to take that flight and show to the world that if you achieve in your area, that there is no limit to where you can be and what you can experience?
They're celebs in their own right, in their own spheres. But what they were doing here was just advertising this new space travel. That's all it was.
Is that what we witnessed? Is a huge PR photo opportunity?
It was. That's exactly what it was.
Okay.
And I agree totally with the gentleman on the panel.
Okay. Yeah, that's James.
It's James. You see our producer.
Hello, James.
Yeah, well done, James. You were the guy on the panel who said it was just a photo op. Yeah, she can hear you. Yeah, it was just there. It was a photo op. She's very cross that it wasn't a vagina-shaped.
Yeah, listen, a man
rocket.
hurt that woman. A man hurt her.
Some guy fucked it up.
As
for all
men
of
do.
them.
And I'm talking about long ago. On a horse. You know what I mean? A brown horse did something to her in a carriage. And she angry still. Till today. She does not want to see a pee-pee. She gets mad. She gets mad.
But it does look very much. His one looks especially penis-like.
With the tiniest balls on the bottom,
Yeah.
like those, that there's no children coming out of that plane.
No,
That spaceship.
it's what triggered Kanye. It's very peanut.
Okay, so here is the best edit I've seen of all of this, and then we will leave it alone because I'm not that interested anymore. I'm sure you guys aren't either. It is funny, though, to see how it's exploded in everyone's faces.
It's funny that the world
Everything.
goes, sit down, guys. You just went to space.
Yeah.
Sit
Nobody
down.
cares.
You took a lift to space.
Actually, no
now
one-
you kissed the boy you liked it. You're kissing the ground now.
Yeah.
It's too much
Yeah.
kissing.
And nobody cares. It's
Please,
so-
we
it's
don't
so funny.
care. We don't care.
Watch this, though. This will make you laugh. Great edit.
Colonel, you better take a look at this radar. What is it, son? I don't know, sir. But it looks like a giant dick.
Yeah.
Take a look at it starboard.
Oh my God, it looks like a huge.
Pecker!
Oh, yeah.
Wait, that's not a woodpecker. It looks like someone's.
Privates! We have reports of an unidentified flying object. It is a long, smooth shaft, complete with two balls.
What is that? That looks just like an enormous...
Wang, pay attention.
I was distracted by that enormous flying.
Willie. Yeah. What's that?
Well, it looks like a giant. Johnson. Yes, sir. Get on the horn to British intelligence and let them know about this.
And there you saw. The main engine is turned off. We're now going to separate the capsule from the booster. And at that point, Kristen, that's when all 6 astronauts are going to start to feel the weightlessness. And shortly thereafter, we're going to let them unbuckle.
That screaming is unbelievable. All right, so that's from, I think you said Austin Powers.
It is.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Fantastic.
What a
Thank
great
you,
edit.
Internet. Thank you,
Yeah.
Internet. Thank you, Internet.
You see, it's not all bad.
Thank
You
you. And
must
also,
take the
shout out
positive.
to Wang.
Yeah,
Shout out to Wang. The highlight.
Wang, pay attention.
Pay attention.
All right, so do you think we're a happy country? Because this is something that's coming up more and more. I posted yesterday, I saw a VAT increase came through on my internet at home, right?
People getting messages. Cheapers.
So I took a screenshot and I said, thank you very much, ANC, Herman Mashaba, everyone else. But it is like, we have huge resilience here in this country. We take a lot of shit.
Yeah.
We take a lot of shit. And I think we do have a sense of humor. We are happy, which is why we like to laugh. I mean, again, you can have fuck all and you can still laugh.
Yes.
And I see people
and
doing
laugh
it
at
all
yourself.
the time.
Yeah.
There was a chick at the tire place when I was having it. She's like, I'm not a cluster fuck. I'm a cluster bomb, but that's because I'm the one who threw it or something. This chick, and she's sitting there
living her best life.
Like she's having a lekker time. She was laughing the whole time, eating a sandwich, 9 a.m. She didn't have problems for that moment. She was lekker.
Yeah. That thing you said earlier about you can have everything and be miserable and see somebody with nothing who is just grateful and happy. I think that's what South Africans are. I think we know what we could have. We know we don't have it. We also know why we don't have it. And we also know that no one's coming to save us. So we might as well just have a good time.
Yeah, just laugh.
And enjoy today. And I always like say to people that South Africans are my favorite people on earth. Like, yes, it's my favorite country, but not because of Table Mountain and the Underberg. It's my favorite country because our people are so robust, and that perspective that we are able to have. First of all, people collapse at every possible opportunity. They moan, they complain. South Africans get on with it. 99% of us, just to get to work, to explain that to somebody who lives in the first world, just to get to work. You live in Orange Farm, you woke up at 4 o'clock, you walked 5 kilometers to catch a bus through load shedding, through, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and then that person arrives jovial. Also, that person arrives 10 minutes late to somebody in Houghton who goes, oh my God, Mavis, every day you're late. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Mavis still carries on. Sorry, madam. Carries on, pushes through. We are the best damn country on earth. And both of those people laugh in the audience.
Yeah.
Both of those people come to the show. Both of those people laugh.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about South Africa. We're the best.
So basically don't worry about it. It's fine.
It is.
You know that dog in the kitchen with the flames? This is fine.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
This is fine.
Keep flipping the burgers.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how we've been trained. We like army. In the army, they train you to fight. When you go and fight, that's what you do. So with us, I feel like we've been trained to just laugh. And in any situation, whatever's going on, we laugh about it, we joke about it, and we carry on. Which I think has a good and bad side, because yes, it keeps us going, keeps us happy as a people. But at the same time, I feel like it allows people to take advantage of the fact that in the first world, when they don't like things, everybody stops. The whole country comes to a standstill because we need to fix the shit of the VAT increase. The whole country goes and marches. Whereas here, we rather want to get the most retweets or trending on thing because our comment about the VAT increase is the funniest for the day. And I think that's the thing that hurts me, is that we are funny, beautiful people, but I feel like we are taken advantage of because we are too nice.
No, that's true.
I also think that that's the whole world. And I think that the gift of being South African at the moment is realizing that we are not alone. Is looking at the greatest powerhouse in the world, the USA, under Donald Trump. Then I'm like, you can draw similarities between Trump and some of our recent presidents. Very easy. You don't have to look far. You don't have to look far. You know what I mean? When you see a person that's doing wild and crazy stuff. And I also feel like we at the same token have more rights than a lot of those countries. So like anywhere in the first world, bruh, you can't raise your voice at a police officer. You can't be arguing. So yes, we have cases where we are absolutely taken advantage of. But at the same time, if a metro cop pulls me off for no reason, I can give that guy an earful. And sometimes he'll say, man, sorry, Goliath, man. You know, we're just trying to keep things moving. You know what I mean? Then I'm like, you try this shit in the first world, but you get arrested immediately. So I'm always like, you know how rich you have to be to shout at a policeman in the world outside of Africa. You know what I mean? So it's also there's give and take, and I think that's why we find we also used to it. And for perspective, please don't compare us to any first world country, but compare us to any third world country that you'd like. And I'm always trying to say that if you're going to compare us to first world countries, of course you're going to feel shit. But go anywhere on the continent, you're going to love this place. Anywhere. you're gonna love
Barely
this place.
Vocal Media says, so true. We are like cockroaches, which is probably
Resilient.
about right. And
Good
I'm okay
mood.
with that.
Dodging
I'm
the
okay with that.
microwaves.
Carl from PE says, as a South African, we know happiness is just a double brandy and coke away.
My man, you could not have said that thing better. A Ricky Low, a double branas.
Yo,
it
look, I'm a
smells
rum
good,
and
it
coke
tastes good.
guy.
I'm converting. I'm actually bi now. I'm bi. I'm a rum
You're
and a brandy
converting
guy.
from rum or to rum.
So
From
I've
rum.
been Nick and I have been rum guys forever, right? And a proper
But
rum
don't you
guys.
find like you smell of rum and raisin ice cream for a week after?
But your body builds up
I
a
don't smell
tolerance.
it myself.
Eventually, you just
for those around me
Yeah,
to deal
That's
with.
not a bad. It's not the worst smell.
no.
Yeah,
But the
you know?
mood, the thing smells good, the thing tastes good. That scheme, that foam, that foam, and also rum makes you very much in love.
Yeah.
It makes you love everybody. Just in a good mood, good vibes.
So when you
don't
find
wanna
brandy
fight.
makes you aggressive.
I'm finding that as I'm
No.
getting older now, a good branas, I get it. Like, so I'm both. That's what I'm saying at the moment. I have different occasions. Sometimes I want a good, a 10-year-old or for
I didn't know you
12-year-old.
guys were rum drinkers.
No, we are
very much.
hardcore.
And the old school, the cheap one.
Yeah,
Oh,
red
yeah,
hot.
yeah.
Red hot.
I'm
all
There
the
we
way.
go.
Yeah,
Shout
yeah.
out, shout out.
Okay, I didn't know
Some
that.
stereotypes
That's
are
But that
true.
thing is delicious. I know, but I went through the phase of pretending, where I was drinking single malts, and because everybody at the table was drinking single malts.
that bullshit.
Then you just get to an
Yeah,
age where you realize, but this thing don't taste nice.
Yeah, you can't.
I
win
want stuff
every
that tastes
every sip
nice.
you take. You.
Rum tastes nice.
No.
And if you think rum don't taste nice, firstly, you didn't have the proper pour. And secondly, I was at a braai the other day for Donovan's birthday.
Yeah.
And all of these fancy people were there, and they came with all their fancy things.
Like
They
fancy
came with
friends,
their
huh?
fancy, you know that where people show you the bottle like this to see, hey, with the numbers there, the
you have
bottle.
And
to take the
everything's on
bottle out
silver
of the
trays, and they're
casket, out
just
of
big
the-
enough for you to pop
And
in your mouth.
literally, Don will tell you 3 hours in, somebody says, hey man, whose rum is that? Then I go, you want a rum?
Yeah.
But by the end of the day, not only is everybody drinking rum, but people are so happy.
Yes.
Loving the rum.
So we're
Everything
getting
makes you
closer to
happy.
defining happiness. It involves
on.
alcohol,
Rum.
Yeah.
not comparing yourself to other people.
Come on.
Yes.
And being happy with what you've got rather than unhappy about what you don't have.
Perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
And
think
being able
that's,
to take a little bit of
listen,
cuck.
guys, we may solve all the world's problems in one
economy's
show this
balancing,
morning.
yeah.
This is fucking
in.
amazing. I'm enjoying this
What
a
do we
lot.
do after this?
Just buck up, buttercups, and fucking smile, says Lee. She's very hardcore, Lee.
That's
I
that
think it's,
toxic positivity, right?
didn't we discover that Lee is a guy the other day?
Lee is a guy who doesn't
Because no
cry.
woman would talk like this. Just buck up, buttercups, and fucking smile. Trust me, life could have been worse always, and it's not really that bad.
Yeah, it could have been worse, Lee. It can always be worse. It doesn't mean you have to accept just where you are as a thing. Like, you can still go, this is cuck, I want to move and be better and expect more happiness. Fucking
And Gareth is allowed to feel what Gareth is feeling today. That's one of the biggest
and
things
he
that
put
I'm
that
learning.
bad in full capitals.
Yeah, and also if I got running stomach, don't tell me to pack up.
She-
You don't know my life.
Lee,
You know nothing about what I'm going through.
Lee
right
is
now,
a
Lee.
woman.
You know nothing about what I'm going through.
Okay,
Leave me.
sorry, Lee. Guys, you could have said Lee spelled L-I-E.
I'm a woman.
L-E-I-G-H.
I'm
Then we would have known. Then we would have known that it's a
Costa
woman.
Siminya, he is a woman. Do you remember Julius
Yes.
saying that? You couldn't fuck that up more.
Oh, sorry, Lee. We love
Rum
you,
is
Lee.
why the Caribbean is so jolly. That's probably true, but it's also nice weather, islands,
Yeah.
blue
Rum.
seas.
Can we
Rum.
also just advise
Pirates,
Lee?
pirates like rum.
Yeah. Can I just
Happy
advise
people.
Lee not to carry that energy into the rest of the day? Just
Yeah.
go and find something to smile about.
I
Lee.
am a woman.
I'm a woman. Now I was gonna go fuck everyone up at the office.
Yeah.
Lee, I'm
Everyone.
actually on your team because I know that you said that thing with good intention and you didn't mean it as like the toxic
Yeah.
thing. I just used you as an example. But that attitude for yourself is absolutely it. But it's expecting that attitude from other people, which will deteriorate. Because I noticed you used 3 exclamation marks.
Yeah, three.
Oh,
Too
and
many.
all caps.
Mapello says, "Who just farted?" No, Mapello. I made the
I was gonna
noise.
ask the question.
I made the noise when Jason was talking about it. And I
Oh.
went.
That's
So,
a good input.
Yeah. I definitely
always a
thought
good
you
one.
farted. I was like, it's not okay to ask the host of the show. Did you just fart?
No,
While
because there's no
interviewing
smell in
us?
here. James, do you want to do a smell test?
Now, James, you'd have been able to smell it from there, bro. We would have heard you.
James has
Double
debit
clutching.
orders. He's not gonna say nothing. It smells like Daisy's in here. Mm.
Oh, Carl says few things are worse than a post-rum cuck.
Oh,
It's
yes,
horrific.
no.
Many toilets have been destroyed.
No, but
No,
I think
Carl.
it's the never-ending story.
Yeah.
Because you'll wipe it, and then you'll keep wiping. Then
Is that the rum?
you'll not
Does rum do
understand
that
it.
to you?
Yeah.
Guy,
It's
it's
like
like
comes out
tar.
like glue.
No.
Like tar and glue
Yes.
combined.
It's
Oh, my man, you will wipe until your
No,
arms
you
hurt.
must respect yourself. You must respect yourself. So you can't just tell her. You must check what your plans are tomorrow.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Where you're going
You
to
got
be.
an early
'Cause
morning.
you don't want to end up
Uh-huh.
like in an airport bathroom with a ramkak. No. Aeroplane, not today.
That's stripe.
And it's two-ply life or no life. You don't want to be mincing newspaper and ram. Ew.
Shit,
that
I had
toilet,
no idea.
That airport toilet paper, your finger always goes straight through.
Wow.
No matter how many times that you can two-ply it yourself.
That's unbelievable.
Surprise.
Yeah, you learn something new every day.
Carl says that fart took me back to day one of Cliff Central where Gareth broadcast the first on-air fart. Well, the first one that we set up microphones and everything.
And did you have like a professional come through or did you fart
No,
yourself?
we had a professional farter.
Who was it?
I can't remember. I don't remember, but
I watched the thing yesterday of a bra fart thing, and I was like, surely you can't just, how do you store the pooper inside?
no, there's a guy called Mr. Methane.
Yeah.
Who's a professional.
Always has one on board.
He's a professional performer. He farts actual songs. He can tune his asshole to go.
Gotta respect that.
That's unbelievable. But also, how do you discover that's your
How
thing?
do you practice?
How do you discover that's going to be my, because everybody wants something different.
Yeah.
You want to be.
No, but I think it's one of those things that for the first half of his life, he probably thought everybody can sing. we just don't talk about it. Everybody can sing.
No, he's a very talented guy. What can we say? That is what sugarcane will do to you. Drink brandy to block you up. Okay, so now we're
Brandy
blaming.
block you up because that would explain a lot.
No, brandy does.
Like I said, I only swapped recently.
I'm always amazed at how, despite my best attempts to keep things like interesting and sometimes a little cerebral, it always goes to cucking and toilets and farts.
Right.
Always. It takes 5 seconds and the show deteriorates.
Because I also love it. It's my fault. I love it so much. And then people come at me and they're like, toilet humor is so beneath you. We know you're an intelligent person. Then I say, I paid off my first house with diarrhea jokes. Like, you don't know me.
But also, who are those people? Because what are they going to pretend that
Those
they
are the
don't
people
find
that
that
pretend
stuff
that they're
funny?
Barbie. They don't even have a poople. They just smooth down there.
Yeah.
They never fart. When they do fart, it smells like fucking
And they act
roses
disgusting when someone else does it.
And those are the same people that gag for the smell of their own cock. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know those
No,
people.
those are
Because
people
if you gag for the smell of your own, do you understand how potion behaves?
Now, I read a thing the other day that said, if you don't find farts funny, you have a problem because you are choosing to live with less joy in your life. in the
Yes.
same
Free
number
joy,
of
man.
farts.
No, exactly.
Yes. Now
You
just
are
being
choosing.
That's
Yes,
such a
I
that's
like
such a
that.
good
Yeah.
that's maths.
Every
You can't
time you
argue
fart,
with the
like,
maths. So
That's
here's
hilarious.
I don't know how old this clip is, but here's a woman on the news who does fart. I don't know if you've seen this or not. You know this one? Okay, look.
a woman on the news.
Yeah, on the news. Watch
Is it
this.
what?
In the Eastern
sorry.
Cape or something.
Oh, yeah, South African. It's a
Yeah,
Xhosa
it's
poop.
a Xhosa poop. Okay, let's go.
Prevention approach to health giving equally embedded in primary health care, which then such and such association will suggest, I'm sorry about that, will suggest that.
I love that she denied it. She denied it as well after apologizing.
But she kind of, the brain first couldn't, and then.
No, you know what? I have to put my mother out here. My mother's one of those farters that she has to stop everything she's doing. She can't multi-poop. Like, she can't do something and poop. So she's walking in a mall and you see her stop, she's having a bit of a poop. If she's talking to you and she just stops, there's a poop happening. And I like that woman's English airtime was like, we can't English and fart on the same time. Because, yeah, we'd like to... Excuse me. Oh, my God, that's amazing.
The
Oh,
only
that's
thing that could
so
have made
good.
it better is if she pulled the mask up herself. Just to confirm it.
Oh my God. Here's a woman who at a wedding, now I think they're filming the first dance or whatever, but the one bridesmaid,
Yes.
she's substantial.
Oh, yes.
And you remember when Tlantla Nene was the governor of the Reserve Bank or Minister of Finance or something, and he was interviewed on SABC in that chair fell
Oh,
down
yes,
under
one
it.
of the greatest moments in TV history.
So great.
It's the crack,
Yeah.
fear in face, full collapse. Oh, so good.
And I think it was SABC too, so it was embarrassing for them forevermore because,
So nice.
you know,
Are they
the
embarrassed?
finance minister, your chairs are so cuck and cheap.
But But
Pay your
also,
we
TV
pay our
license.
TV license.
It's the right thing to do.
no, but I blame him. As a big boy, there's no plastic chair, my friend. You don't trust any plastic chair.
Well,
You
here's
shouldn't
a
have-
here's
like
a
you won.
here's a wedding situation which was just as embarrassing, even though she's not a minister of finance. Have a look.
I began to pass out. Then my head hit the wall. Boom. But I had a praying grandmother.
Oh, no.
The timing's good, right?
Oh, that's
I think
so
they put the song in
perfect.
after.
I feel like it's put in. Yeah,
they put the song in
Because
after.
it looks like
but
the
that's
groom is
great.
having his speech there.
Isn't that lovely?
Oh, I'm going down. oh, that's so good. I'm so sorry, young lady. It's so embarrassing.
And I'm sure she also said, guys, are these chairs? Because I've seen you at
Yeah.
parties. I've seen
Yes.
Jay look at a chair
I
and go,
check.
you know what, I'm rather going to stand.
No, I
Those
don't take
plastic
chances.
garden chairs, very
No,
dangerous.
and
No,
on
that
a
thing will
tile.
embarrass you.
And it'll listen. You get hurt, eh?
No,
That,
proper.
that,
Have
that
you
thing
seen
can
those
hurt you
things?
badly.
The
I-
lid
With the
cuts
sharp
into.
pieces.
Yeah.
I don't even sit on a camping chair. You come with a camping chair with the no-name brand, my friend. No. Me, I wear 132 on a good day. On a good day. Now you're coming with macro. Leave me. You don't know me. You do not know me.
All right.
The
Okay. So
internet is funny. Eh? The world.
So here's
that's so
a fat woman talking about something just delightful because we got onto the toilet humor.
Mm.
So this is about as far as I'm prepared to go, and no further.
Okay.
Let's see.
She's talking about diapers, adult nappies. Okay,
Nice.
this is just delightful. This is when you've given up on life.
That's when you surrendered, yeah.
Yeah. Now you whatever, Lord,
Yeah.
take me wherever you want to take me.
Yeah.
I'm going to just take a
Pride
shit.
does
I
not-
pee on myself 15 times a day. Do you wear a diaper? No, because
them to fit us.
I don't want the guy to touch my butt and feel a diaper. That little noise when you wear.
I'm talking about cloth diapers.
Megan and Vanessa playfully joked that the world needs to create a special kind of diaper designed for plus-sized individuals. One that is not only functional, but also sexy and comfortable.
Wow. you
So,
want
sorry, they used the word
a
sexy.
G-string nappy.
They used the word sexy for an adult nappy. I'm not sure that news reporter is an honest person.
The first she said 15 times a day.
She pees on
Then
herself.
she said, "Do you wear nappy?" No, because I don't want a guy to feel.
On a
Then
butt
I'm
while
like-
he
So
grabs her
she's
butt.
just peeing.
No, but I'm also who's this guy?
Who wants to touch
this
her?
brave soul, this unrecognized, unsung hero that is going where no man has gone before. You know what I mean? Where
My
That's
question
better than
is,
that Blue Origin trip. Let me tell you,
What?
that guy deserves some fucking credit.
you need the same
If he
size
kissed
rocket,
the
I'll tell
every
you.
time he's finished with her, he kissed the ground. We'll all be there to clap him
Yeah.
on.
nah, the same type of jet propulsion is required to get.
Yeah.
You
In-
go, Captain America.
Oh, baby, you always wet. No, I peed 15 times today.
I mean, so
But
sad.
where
And
does
then,
the pee go? Where's
yeah,
the pee
well, I
going?
think it just gravity.
It just gets reabsorbed into the body. The same pee for 25 years.
I'm a big boy, right? I've always been a big boy. I make jokes about being a big boy, and I get it. So I defend people. I hate people who say just stop eating. You don't get it. It's the same as you don't get depression
Yeah.
and all of that stuff.
Or smoking or
But
gambling or
I
any of
am
those
I
things.
am gonna say that when you get to a point in your life where you no longer have control of your bodily functions, and you're still within the age range of somebody who can gain control of their bodily functions, at that point, ask someone for help. Because sometimes you can't ask yourself. Sometimes there's a block. Sometimes there's whatever. But tell somebody, I peed 15 times today. I still want to be
And I
sexy.
haven't gone to the toilet.
I need nappies. Like I'm serious. There's like at some point, your life is not joyous. To pee on yourself 15 times a day.
Do you think the best friend,
Ammonia.
the sister, whatever, the two of them are motivating each other to go, no, it's okay. You're fine. You're fine.
Well, the
you're
one's
fine."
got an oxygen thing the whole in the
Yeah.
nose the whole time. She's got the oxygen thing in.
So
I don't
because the
look,
people you surround yourself with
I
will also
blame. I
determine.
do blame again the attention economy, and of course these people are personally responsible for their own day-to-day lives and bodily, functions and all the rest. But there's something about television where it's got so disgusting. It's like the TV used to be, you'd see the most brilliant, most talented, most interesting people like David Attenborough talking about some hoho that you didn't know
Yeah.
about in the Amazon, and it would be mind-blowing that this thing could shoot a little blue stream of something and kill a little bug, and then it would fall and it would eat it. And you'd learn something.
Absolutely.
Now, unfortunately, post-reality TV, which we've all been in, right? Maybe we bear some responsibility for this. Now they make a show where they basically just humiliate people like those two ladies in that clip. That's humiliation. And they buy into it because they're going to get attention. They might get a bit of money, some sponsor. Now there's going to be an adult nappy company that makes something for them.
Yeah.
From that clip. There will be.
Always. Because it's about branding and making money.
There's a lot of billboard
Sexy
space
nappy.
to cover there too. So you get a
what do you like
awareness.
Yep, sexy nappy. Bringing back
I
because
don't know
that beige color underwear, that's the color you got to go with, that dark
That's
brown.
all they make, right?
You got to go with the brown color,
brown,
like the same as the red jackets. You got to go with the brown one, otherwise it's not sexy. You got to go brown. And there's no, but you could also like G-string coloring for the shape. I don't know. I'm confused by that, the whole statement. I pee myself 15 times a day. I don't wear nappies because they don't make them sexy.
Are you guys worried about AI and comedy?
I don't think I'm worried about it. I think that naturally AI will play a big role in comedy, whether it be script writing, whether it be even online on TV, like they could make avatars of Jason and I doing the show.
We don't have to do this show. For example,
Exactly.
I know I've already got people working on this. James, look out. Flex, look out. Our jobs are on the line. Where, because there are enough audio recordings of me and even video, you could put a show together, make it look like it's a live show.
Yeah.
And I didn't even come to work that day.
They can even, but you, so
And I don't know. I don't know
about
whether the audience would even know. I don't know if you would be able to tell
most
whether it's me or not.
I do a lot of corporate comedy, right? emceeing it corporate. That's my job.
Sure.
And I saw a slide 2 years ago because in corporate you watch the seasons. Like a few years ago, 5 years ago, we were talking about fourth industrial revolution at every single conference you went to. Now every conference you go to, they're talking about AI. Then I saw a slide that stuck in my mind, and the slide said, AI is not coming to take your job. People who embrace AI are coming to take your job. Then I was like, okay, I really like that slide. Then I spoke to AI people, and I used to like to be foolish, and I said, is this thing Skynet? Is it going to wake up one day and take over? Then they said, no, AI is the knife in the drawer. Then I said, okay, what does that mean? Then they said, no, the knife in the drawer is neither good nor bad. The person operating the knife will instruct the knife to do a good thing or a bad thing. Can be used as a tool, can be used as a weapon. AI is exactly the same. It's got no feelings, but the person instructing the AI or wielding the AI will do. Then I was like, okay, but at least comedy, it needs that personal touch. Then, true story, 3 weeks ago, I'm hosting like this thing where they go, we're doing a tour of Joburg. We want you on one of those red buses. We're going to put a nice PA in for you, and we're going to go from point A to point B, a celebration of Joburg. And we want you to comedically tour guide. I'm not a tour guide. You know what I mean? I love Joburg, but I'm not a tour guide. So I go, yo, ChatGPT, I want you to act as a comedic tour guide. I'm going from point A to point B, and I want you to write a script for me to comedically tour guide people. Was ChatGPT not hilarious?
Oh, really? Good. Huh?
ChatGPT opens with, welcome to 44 Stanley, where hipsters gather and coffee is the only thing more expensive than petrol. I was like, what? That's genius! That's hilarious! ChatGPT wrote funny things. Then I was like, first I thought, this thing will never make humor because funny. Then it's going to get to a point where I can sit in a room, look around, identify things about people, make jokes about those people. It's already at a point where it can assimilate Gareth based on what it knows about Gareth. Very soon, it's going to get to a point where it can look at a room and tell me things that it knows based on, because I know, and what gave me the advantage was, and Nick the advantage of, we've been comedians for 14 years. We've been in so many different environments. We've had so many different permutations of audiences. ChatGPT has watched every single comedy show that's ever been recorded in the history of the internet.
Right.
It's got information with billions of times more experience than me. So is it a threat to stand-up comedy? I think absolutely, but I think it's a threat to those who are not going to embrace it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because the thing is already funny.
Yeah.
That should terrify us. It's 2025. Computers are funny. It's the end of the world.
No,
Well,
it always reminds me of like the discussion that we used to have about automatic gearboxes.
Yes.
And how, oh no, automatic, oh, are you even really driving if it's on automatic? And now it's the standard. That's just
You
'cause
cannot change better than an automatic.
We never believed that an automatic gearbox would be as great as it is today. So I think we'd be ignorant to believe that AI is not going to develop.
There are probably
into-
still some people somewhere who think that lawnmowers can't actually have an engine. They must be those ones that you go.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. With the
They want
turning
those
blades,
ones.
yes.
Yeah. There's some people who think that you have to electric cars aren't real cars. I know people like this, proper petrol heads. I love them. They love cars. They will not settle for anything electric.
They
or
must
hybrid.
not drive
They think
them
it's bullshit
because it will hurt their brains.
Yeah,
that thing's
and there's still people who go, the TV is the devil. You can't turn that thing on; it'll bring the devil into your house.
Yeah,
there are lots of people who put they
souls are trapped
construct
inside.
these artificial rules to keep themselves from having to change.
People who don't adapt and change get forgotten first. It is the saddest thing. At the moment, you just got to be so open, so fluid, and you got to go with it. You spoke earlier about kids. 70% of their lives are online, and then I don't have kids. I had this big argument with somebody who has kids, and that person said such an interesting sentence. They said, "You see, what you trying to do is force me to raise my kids to fight the battles I had to fight. I'm trying to raise my kids to live in the world that they've got to live in, fight the battles that they're going to face." And then I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I didn't think about it like that. I want kids to be on bicycles in the streets, knowing how to fight. Because where we grew up, you couldn't talk cock about me. Because if you spoke cock about me, I was coming to your house and I was going to hit you in front of your father. Now you can say, Jason's a fat bastard on the internet and I can't do anything. It's crazy the difference that we live in.
Natalie says, I'm an ex-print editor. My job has just become redundant. I hate AI.
Lean in, Natalie.
Natalie, if you print some adult nappies with your brand on, we got a place for you to mark.
Some sexy nappies. Also, we got lots of space for words on those adult
Big
nappies.
letters.
Lots of space for branding.
Oh,
so it's such a funny thing. The other day I was, again, I use ChatGPT all the fucking time now, and I'm almost embarrassed that I feel like I'm getting dumber, but it's smarter to use that thing to do the research. So much better than you having to
It's so good.
Listen, I remember having to read tons and tons of material to make up my mind about something, figure out how to do some. This was there's this piece of land where we don't want anything to grow on it. So I thought, well, the ancient Romans used to salt the earth. You know, if they conquered a city like Carthage, they'd poison the wells and they'd salt the earth so nothing could grow there for 1,000 years. Yeah. So I asked ChatGPT, does salting the earth really work? Came up with a couple of paragraphs. Here are some better things to use. I mean, names of poisons I couldn't pronounce. That to me is a much better use of my time than to spend hours and hours Googling different kinds of things.
Again, bro. The person who
reading
embraces it is
encyclopedia articles. I mean, you don't pretend that it isn't better to just do that.
It also makes it better for what you're doing. So I'm saying if you incorporate AI into what you're doing, it makes your show better than if you didn't incorporate AI into what you're doing. It makes your research more thorough. It just makes it better. It's the same as
you know what you got to do.
It's the same.
You got to take a photograph of the audience without them knowing before you start a show.
Yeah.
Then ask AI to research all these people. Yes, you'll come up with some unbelievable stuff, and they'll all think you're psychic.
Off the cuff.
Imagine.
Oh, you're going through a divorce.
Hey, Danny, nice to see you. They're like, how the fuck does he know my name's Danny? I heard you're getting divorced. Yeah.
Danny, Standard Bank calls. I want their car back.
Yeah, you're 400,000 rand in overdraft, Michelle. How's it going?
But you got a glass of champagne.
Michelle.
Trying to run away from your problems.
Just imagine what that could do. I mean, with facial recognition and
isn't it scary that we're there already? Like we're there already. We have that new chip, because sometimes we even read the headlines nowadays and we just let it pass. Because Microsoft developed that new chip that is a new state of matter. It's not a gas, it's not a solid, it's not a liquid.
Yeah.
Then I heard somebody say, this thing can calculate a maths problem that would have taken the previous generation computer from the beginning of time until now. This thing can calculate that math problem in 5 minutes. Then I was like, yay, we are Skynet now.
No, proper. Because you were talking about the knife in the drawer, and it depends on who's wielding the knife. And I'm like, yeah. What terrifies me is movies have been coming true. Things we've seen in movies have been happening. And eventually, it just makes sense. It's logical that we've developed a thing that can almost think for itself, can do all the research that it needs to do, understand the world. What's stopping it from going, oh, no, you guys actually are the problem yourself?
Yeah, I mean, this is where we've got to program ethics into it. We've got to actually create hard stops.
But again, it can't decide. Somebody has got to go, is humanity the problem? Do something about it.
Well,
so even if you ask it right now, it will tell you that we're the problem. Because we are. Because we are. But somebody has got to say, so what you should be more worried about.
We've known that.
Now we've got computers that are building computers is my thing. That's where.
Based on instruction. So somebody's still got to tell the computer.
It's learning. My thing is, we can't say the thing is learning all the time, and it can now solve a millennium's problems in 5 minutes. And then go, no, but it can't program itself.
So I'm not disagreeing with you. But I'm saying you still got to be careful of the guy that is programming, that is telling that machine what to do.
Yeah, if the guy's a Bond villain.
It's more dangerous than we thought.
Look at this guy.
It's more dangerous.
Here's who you don't want programming AI. Is this new guy who's heading up the World Economic Forum. Remember, Klaus Schwab has left. So we all think, okay, good, we're safe from the globalist evil. Because he looked like a Bond villain, and he even sounded like one. Hello, Mr. Bond. I am here to take over the World Economic Forum for you. I am the real danger. Anyway, he's gone now. Also, the Pope's gone now. It's all changing. Everything's changing. Here's the new guy. Look at this motherfucker. He's got, look at that eye, right?
No, guys, a computer.
Yes.
That is an AI.
Peter Brabeck Letmante, who is the former CEO of Nestle, who famously stated in 2017, humans have no right to access to free water. I mean, this is the person they've put in charge there now. We have no right to access free water. You can't go to the stream or the river, according to him. You must buy mine bottled water.
You're telling me that, but I don't look like when Chucky grows up.
I'm telling you, look at that funny... What's going on with that eye, man? Show it again.
That's the
What's
AI.
up with that eye? The AI. That's the AI. You're right.
Exactly it.
Yes,
the
you're
AI.
That's nice.
That's the AI.
That's the AI.
No, that thing is calculating everything.
Now, if that oak's in charge of programming the computers, then we're in a lot of shit.
Bro, we are in a lot of shit. Donald Trump is in charge of Earth. We are in, we're just in denial.
How do we know that Elon didn't create the new Donald even? Like, that's not a cyborg.
Hey, let's not even... guys. I'm just happy that we are far. I know that they've got a base here in Botswana, the US, but it's still very far for us to come and fight with us. And there's nice things here, but we're small. So I'm scared for the world. The world should be afraid. And we see it every single day. Turn a blind eye, carry on.
Try to turn blind eye.
Someone says it's the eye of Sauron.
Gareth, when you were still on 702 and somebody said to you world wars are going to come back, because you've always been sharper than sharp. In our lifetime, would you honestly have felt the world would react the way it's reacting to war now? And I'm talking about take yourself all the way back to when you just started and what you thought you knew then.
No,
to
I'm
your
not even sure how to answer that. I don't know because
I didn't think we'd see it.
I still think we're in a much more safe and peaceful and pleasant world than at any other stage in human history, right? So I don't think it is bad to be human right now.
Yeah,
I think it's actually very lucky. I was driving yesterday afternoon on my way home, and I saw whole lot of joggers in this neighborhood. And I thought, jogging is cuck, but I love that these people can do it.
Yeah.
I like living in a neighborhood where there are people who can jog.
Yes.
I suddenly thought, humans are resilient as hell, and especially South African humans, because you keep taking things away from us, you keep changing things, you've got total incompetence everywhere. Everything's like, if you want to be miserable, it's fucked, right? But these people are jogging. They're working on their fitness.
Yeah.
They're doing something, right?
In groups.
And I thought, none of them have to get dressed in a uniform tomorrow and go to war against some other country.
No.
We don't have to worry about that shit. So I'm hoping this lasts. That's all I want. To keep it going at least another, because I'll be dead in 50 years or less.
Can you just behave for the next 50?
Just
When I'm
finish.
out, do you
Like,
boo-boo?
after that,
Yeah.
go as fucking mad as you want. I can't do anything about that.
I'm glad you're saying that, because maybe I needed to hear that, because I'm a little bit scared at things like, I never ever thought such an open capitalist would be in charge. You know, the democracy was always about
What's worrying you? Tell me the truth.
I'm
Donald Trump?
No, so I'm saying, like, so I look at this callous, we can piss everybody off, and at the same time we can deny atrocities that are happening, and control who sees them, control who reacts to them, control so much. And we are, so for the first time, I also feel like I have such a great voice, but even me, I gotta watch myself.
But do you really feel that like it's worse since Trump came in?
I'm talking about it's worse since when I was 20 and I'm now turning 45.
No, only because we were being bullshitted
and
by
just
everyone.
in terms of what I
access to
expected.
see
So
what was happening.
I just like, and it's maybe like, so here's the thing. For the first time in my life, there's a podcast, not a podcast, a TED talk on some Chinese bra talking about the Chinese political system versus democracy. And for the first time, I go, hey, but this guy makes some good points. Where I grew up indoctrinated that democracy was the light, the right, and the only way. Then a simple point of something like, the problem with democracy is, if you take a bank, for example, if in a democracy, a bank would never work, because you could have somebody who's very popular in the call center all of a sudden be promoted to CEO, and that person would now be responsible for the health of everybody within that organization. Now you can have a situation where somebody who doesn't actually care about politics, they only care about money, being in charge of global politics. So in that TED talk, it speaks about the fact that the current president of China has worked for the government of China for 30 years in every department. Started in a small town as a municipal worker, became a municipal manager, understands how the country runs to be able to look after its people.
But it is still inside the Communist Party of popularity
100%.
contest.
No, 100%. So then I'm saying I'm not agreeing with their way, but I'm saying for the first time there are points that I go, hey man, humanity, we are trusting systems that are not necessarily protecting us. So we feel helpless in South Africa, this fantastic country. We've spoke all day about how lovely it is and how resilient people are, but the dual economy has never been louder to me. It's never been louder to me that, and Tsitsi Chumi, a great comedian and a great mind, I think he's going to do amazing things on earth, once said a thing that shook me, and he said, South Africa will never be fixed as long as one man can pay another man's salary with the change he has in his pocket right now.
No, but that's horseshit.
It's not.
No, it's horseshit.
It's not.
Because you got this, you see, we've been told a couple of things. So I just want to go back to your first question.
Save me.
I'm not going to necessarily answer your question comprehensively or to your to your satisfaction. But here's the best attempt I can give at it. There are no perfect forms of government. When humans
100%.
interact with humans,
I agree.
there's no
On
perfect
Earth.
marriage.
On Earth,
right?
and that's why I say we're lucky here. Actually.
How many people do you know who are always happily married? Always,
Nobody.
every day.
You
There's no
shouldn't
one,
be.
right?
You're lying if you are.
Put two humans in a room, you get 25 opinions.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be disastrous and impossible to manage.
Yeah.
Don't we have to take a break at some point? Or are we just going to go? We just go, yeah. Fuck, I just suddenly thought it's 7:28 already. I'm having so much fun talking to you guys. Normally we stop at 7. Okay, so there isn't a perfect system.
Yeah.
But I think it was Churchill who said that democracy is the best of the bad systems.
I agree.
So it's about the best we can do.
Yeah.
Because people feel that they have input.
Yes.
And to go back to the start of your question about how it was when you were 20 years old, we didn't realize how much bullshit was involved. We didn't realize how much we were being spun.
Yes.
Yeah.
How
We
much,
didn't
you know, we
know.
had
We're
these
so
plastic
ignorant.
politicians, these, hello, I'm Tony Blair, hand gesture. I'm going to take Britain forward and make it a better place for all.
Yeah.
It was all rehearsed, performative shit.
Frightening.
And we fell in love with the idea of a polished, well-spoken, well thought through argument from someone who looked like a politician was meant to look like.
Yeah. And who made promises that
And we suddenly
politicians were
realized
supposed to
like
make.
this is also because it all ended up with Joe Biden, who was like, he wasn't even in the body.
No, the guy was finished.
Right. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but for Easter they posed for a Biden family photograph or whatever. And they photoshopped him in. Because he's lying in bed. I mean,
I feel for
he doesn't
Biden.
know whether he's
His
a
motor
teapot
plan
or a
ran
hockey
out
stick.
just too soon, man.
It's just unbelievable. Like, this is how much we were being lied to the point where they would put up Kamala Harris as a candidate and think, yeah, we'll fall for that. Like the world's changed. And for all the things that people have a problem with, the one thing you can say about Trump is he's very authentic.
Straight up.
He's real. Okay. So I don't think he'd be a very pleasant dinner conversation because I think he'd just talk about himself.
And money.
Probably. I don't even think he's that. I've got great deals. We've got some great deals on the table. I'm going to make a great deal with China. You know, that kind of shit. That's his thing. And if he can get it right, and he's a bully. Remember that clip of him walking into that NATO meeting where he just elbowed those other people out of the fucking way.
Yeah.
That's him. And unfortunately, the world is changed and made by people like that. It's not made by nice people who sit in conference rooms. I mean, we were talking about AI conferences earlier, and I saw a comment here from somebody who said, I've been to so many of these AI conferences and they're bullshit. I think the world is actually fine. We'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine.
The world's always
It's
fine.
like you said about South Africa. We'll be fine. And yes, we've been told that the worst thing of all is inequality. But inequality is not the problem. It's the solution. As long as you're on the winning side of that and you are making yourself richer or better or happier,
you're fine.
You're fine. And you know what? The people at the other end are not necessarily deserving of their fate because everyone has the opportunity to take responsibility for themselves every day. You just look at, for example, being healthy.
Yeah.
Like you can eat fucking McDonald's every day. You
True
can.
story. Put my hand up. I do.
And sure. And if you do, that's your decision. Then you must live with the consequences. However,
I got you. But
inequality has
even-
been set up as this big goal that we've got to sort out. Do you think that if everybody had the same for a day, they'd be happy? No.
Look, I quoted my mother earlier in a negative light. Let me give her some props.
Yeah,
here.
shame you spoke
I
about
once-
it farting
I
in
once
the
said to her,
shopping
sorry,
mall.
Mom. Sorry, Mom. You know, I used to call her the bomber man. Remember that game, the bomber man?
Yes.
We used to go ding, 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 stop, drop the bomb, and then
Yes.
run, ding, 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 ding. I had to call her the bomber man. Man, shame, Mom. I love you. I once said to her, yes, I hate this thing of unfair. Why can't everybody be rich? Because it was a case of my best friend got a car with no cord on his remote control, and for Christmas, and mine had a cord, and I was like, this is cock.
They had to run after it.
Yeah, and I was like, this is cock. And then I was like, I wanted the other one, and then she said, no, they get rich and we're not rich. And then I was like, but why can't we all just be rich? And she said, hey, my boy, let me tell you something simple about life. The thing works because somebody's got to fry the burgers and somebody's got to buy the burgers. Just be smart enough to decide which side of that counter you want to live your life on. And as true a statement as it is,
that's spot on.
I still have to argue with you a little bit and say that not everybody who works hard and puts in the time has the opportunity to make it to the other side.
Sure.
And it does bother me. It does, and it maybe I'm a softie and I have this crazy version, but I'm also not an idiot. So I also see capitalism change industries. I also see this online thing steal from local communities and local economies. And that means the mom and pop store that used to employ 15 people in your neighborhood, they're now getting packages delivered. So one person is making the money. All of these people, all of their skill sets are now irrelevant. I do see big retail, who are the biggest employers in the country, and my favorite people, because they do incredible stuff, and some of the best retailers on earth make it impossible to compete with them, which means jobs in townships become more and more difficult. Access to education is impossible. So it's like such a layered thing. And then I do that same thing that in the beginning of this story we spoke about, and I allow problems that are not my problem, that I can't change or control, to ruin my day. But I'm saying that because it is getting loud. It's getting loud.
It
I
is.
see it. I can't ignore it. You can't just stay in your bubble. You can't pretend
but
it
again,
doesn't
I
exist.
don't see all of this as a problem. I genuinely think like we all have our role to play in the economy, whether you're a buyer or a seller.
Yeah.
Like you're selling entertainment and comedy, and both of you individually are very fucking good at that and very successful
Thank
at
God.
it.
For
And
now, until AI.
together with podcasts and shows like you're doing, it attracts people. People are willing to part with their money to see you do that stuff. Now, even if you aren't incorporating AI or any of that stuff into it anytime soon, people have a desire to laugh. They have a desire to feel good, just to distract them sometimes from how cuck the day-to-day is, right?
Yeah.
And that's, if you can help with that,
we like Big
that's great.
Pharma, but without
no,
the
don't feel
consequences.
guilty about taking their money.
No.
So I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I do, and I really don't. I want to reemphasize that. I don't. And
then
I did once. And I
just want to
actually give you a
caveat
great
this.
example. No,
Just
I'll give
want
you
to
a great
caveat it.
example.
Don't worry about other people's money then.
And
Because other people's money is none of your business.
So I absolutely don't. And the reason I don't is because I can learn your job. You can't tell the jokes.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I don't. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
Whatever
right.
it is your job is,
No,
I
you're
can
right.
go to school and I can learn your job. You can't stand in front of 1,000 people and tell the jokes.
Yes.
So don't worry about my money. But I do get to a situation where I have a friend that says I'm moving to Australia because I've got kids and I'm worried about safety. And I go, the safety is going to continue to be an issue because there's going to be a growing populace of people who have less. And generally, when there are people that have less in a system where we are now, talking about scarf theorems, where status is as important as food, where crime and people's safety is always going to be an issue. So then every now and then that type of thing does come up for me. And I am that optimist where I want to go, guys, South Africa's fine and is going to be fine. Then I can't help but go, hey, Valdevi starts looking lacquer, starting to live in the first world, within the third world, with the high walls, and you know what I mean, exclusivity. And you kind of want to live in the fairy tale where it's a system where, Joburg, you want to tell the story that Joburg is this place where if you wake up early and motivated, you're not going to go to bed hungry.
But this is not a geographical problem. It's not like a South Africa. You've been to New York.
Yeah.
You know that there are people who live in penthouse apartments that are as big as your house or my house.
Yeah.
And some.
Yeah.
And they get a view over Central Park. And then you get the oaks who have to commute for 4 hours into Manhattan every day to put vegetables out on the sidewalk, and they have to go back home at night as well.
I want to say
that's inequality too.
No, I'm going to say this with sincerity. Thank you, because we all need context, and that's why that's why we're doing the show. Is I am somebody who is aspiring to not have those stresses. I'm aspiring to be Bill Burr and only be in the now and celebrate what I can, be as kind as I can when I can, help wherever I can in terms of my little universe and my world, and carry on. And if we all do that, then we can fix it.
Again, there are two problems.
Yeah.
No, but they're the problems that you can do something about, and they're the ones that you can't do something
100%.
about. And it is not your job to be the Buddha to be Nelson Mandela.
Even though I resemble.
I was going to say,
take that from Nicholas.
Like, you don't have to solve everybody's problems, but you said it now. You said, I can help my people.
Yeah.
Because you started home.
Yeah.
The first thing is, if you've got a sister who desperately needs work because she's been unemployed for a year, you find something for her to do and you pay her money.
I needed that conversation.
Right? I mean, so there's inequality, but you're not going to solve the inequality. You're not going to give her half your fucking stuff because she's been unemployed for a year, but you'll give her some money so she doesn't have to be impoverished.
And a lecture.
And there's a bit of an economy going now with you and her. If you've got a friend who's a drug addict, you try to help him. But if he can't help himself, then cut him loose.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like
everybody's savior,
we get trapped in that situation because I'm the same. Like, we want this happy, everybody, peace and love kind of vibe. But I feel like the exposure to the negative just emphasizes. And that's why, like you're saying, that thing is loud in your head.
It's loud.
Because we see it all the time. 20 years ago, when you were 20 years old, we didn't see as much. It was there. I feel like the problems have been
man.
the same.
They were.
It's just that we didn't
You
have
came out at
access.
20 years old. You came out of the club and you saw the oak who'd passed out and he wasn't in the club with you. He'd passed out in the.
It is a bit louder, Gareth.
It's
It is a bit louder. 20 years ago, everybody at the robot was a supermarket. Nowadays, there's not many people selling. Everybody's begging.
Yeah,
So it's that volume. I'm talking about the optical volume. There's a volume there. It's louder now.
Because there are more people. The number of people in the world is growing all the time. And in South Africa, especially, we see there's no jobs. We know that there's problems, there's issues with government, there's all the cuck that we're dealing with. So naturally, there's going to be more people. Like you're saying, there's going to be more people with less and less people with more. And there's going to be the need for, because I've got an aunt who stays in Kyalami Estate, and I went there for the first time and I was like, this is beautiful. My dream house. This is the type of setup I want. This is everything. And I realized it's cool when you're in there, you're safe, but you have to leave.
I'm legend, bruh.
You have to leave. So then it's never going to be. It's never going to be
but that's not
equal.
Okay, but that's
so
not.
We have to be happy.
We all know that there are poor communities where people aren't killing each other. They get on fine. They live their lives.
We come from those communities, and
right?
Those are good people.
They're good people. They're not. It's not dangerous because the people are cuck fucking people.
No.
And it's not dangerous because they're poor.
No, it's dangerous because the cops are not doing anything, and the cuck people
it
are
gets dangerous when they're hungry, dog.
Yeah.
It gets dangerous when they're hungry, not when they're poor.
Absolutely. And I think that there's something to be said for the fact that we've been told liberal democracy is the best system. It's imperfect, right?
Yeah.
We've been told that inequality is the biggest problem. Who's going to fix that? The only way to fix inequality is for some outside third party, government or whatever, to come in and take everything and then distribute it, which we know is a terrible, terrible thing. It's never going to work.
I agree
but
with
also,
you
you're going to end up with lots of dead bodies at the end of that.
This is the best of the worst, and it's also safer because it's self-regulating.
And I'm sorry, like part of the cost of living in the best of the possible worlds, which is what we have now, where nothing's perfect, it'll never be. It's not utopia. There's no magic wand. There's no happily ever after, and everybody has the control for the PlayStation that doesn't have the cable, or the cable that fits into their phone in the morning when they charge. But part of the price of that is that you have to, if you're a compassionate, empathetic person, occasionally feel bad because you see a mum with a kid on the sidewalk begging for money.
And
you're going to have to feel bad. And you know what?
It's
not your job to fix it. It's just your job to feel bad.
I'm a hypocrite even as I bring up this topic and speak so passionate about it, because I also do jokes on stage about going, if you wanna leave this country, go to a braai with colored people and bring up the fact that you're gonna leave, because colored women are the most honest women on earth. They will sort you out very quickly.
What do they say?
Because you'll be at the braai and then you'll say, yeah, Ricardo, you hear Canada's borders are open, bruh. Then Ricardo says, Canada, it's lekker there. Within 2 minutes, Ricardo's wife's head pops out going, and who's going to do the ironing in Canada? It's as simple as that, my friend.
Yeah.
We live very nice here.
That's right.
We live very nice here.
Yonda says, entropy is what the universe is about. We were living in an era where things looked like they were orderly and the reset had to happen, and it's now up to us how we allow the chaos to be if we do nothing.
Say it again.
Yonda and Diggy, this is very, very good.
I can't see
entropy is what the universe is about. We were living in an era where things looked like they were orderly, and the reset had to happen. It's up to us how we allow the chaos to be if we do nothing.
So, Yonda, thank you.
I think that's. I didn't really think we would go here this morning, but
you did think so. You opened with, whenever I have comedians in here, things go serious.
No, this is a big conversation. This is not like you lying here telling me your psychological problems.
No.
I don't think so. I mean, that's what I'm used to with comedians. But here we are solving the world's problems. So I think that the world is in constant flux. You have the one thing you know for sure, and this is not a profound statement, is that change is going to happen. You guys have already hinted at the answer to this in some respects, and that is you have to go with the change or you're going to be the first one to be forgotten, you said. Is that roughly right what you...
Yeah.
Those who don't embrace the change
will be the first to be forgotten.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty profound thing that you said.
Thank you.
Because if you think things will stay the same, whether it's because you expect the same number of homeless people on the street as in 1992,
yeah,
or because you want cars to have petrol engines instead of electric, because you use a lawnmower that's still got the little blades,
yeah.
or you've got one that's
got
got an engine in it.
You got a hoe.
Yeah, you got an old side like they used to use, like Father Time's meant to use. So whatever it is that you think is going to stay the same, you can't get attached to that if you want to be happy.
We've solved the world's bloody problems.
I'm telling you.
You can't want 60-60 and no dual economy. Choose your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those oaks on those bikes, we've spoken about them on the show before. They drive really badly, but yes, we need them.
We need them
desperately.
I reckon there are more checkers 60-60 guys than we have soldiers in our army and police and private security all put together.
And none of those other people you mentioned are as critical to my wife's mental health.
For sure. Right. She'll lose her shit if that delivery can't happen.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The O's know on a first name basis. They ask her questions like, how's the dogs?
Any day of the night or any time of the day or night, you will see a checkers 60-60 on your road, no matter where.
Bruh, so what we do need is more of these conversations. And this is what I'm struggling with. So we do the show, right?
But you got your podcast, yeah.
Yeah, we do the show, we do the podcast. When we do the podcast, the happiness economy, go and watch the thing. But we also live in a society where people would rather watch fat people crap themselves 15 times a day.
Hey, we like it too.
Exactly. We're part of the problem. So it's like for me, the thing gets better when we all make sense of it, like we did now. Bruh, I respect you because of your brain. That's why I wanted to come here, because you're a no-nonsense guy. You know what you know. You're willing to learn a little bit if you don't know it. You know, they speak about a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And I respect you because you were a very arrogant person. I've told you that you're an intellectual bully before on this show, where you bully people that are dumb because you're very, very clever and you like to hold that against us.
I don't know that I'm so clever.
But you also exist in a growth mindset where you're willing to listen to fact, you're willing to understand the evidence, and you're willing to debate. And it's platforms like this that I think we need, where somebody listening to this conversation can't leave the world still thinking A, that they can save the whole world, B, that they're going to go and chant on the corners about poverty. What you should be doing is go and do your best to go and employ as many people as you can, pay them a fair wage, go and create a little economy if you're really so worried about it. Go and do your best to change the part of the world that you have an impact over.
Right.
So instead of bitching and moaning about the way the world is, first show me what you're actually doing to create positivity and help people survive. I'm so tired of people moaning on people's behalf that they are not actually doing anything for other than moan.
That's our favorite thing to do.
You know what I mean?
God. But on other people's
yes.
behalf. Okay.
Your life is fine. You are moaning on
this
behalf.
drives me fucking mad. Is self-appointed people who have no mandate.
Yes.
Who make themselves the spokesperson.
Because they don't have real things to worry about in their life.
Exactly. Find some housewife, and I'm not necessarily opposed to any particular housewife or job description that entails housewifery, whatever the fuck it might be. She'll suddenly decide one morning, I now speak for the poor elderly women of Kailicha, and you'll be like, nobody asked you to do that. Mind your fucking business. It's like the ladies who went up in that Blue Origin thing. That's lekker. They had a nice ride.
Wonderful.
They came back down. They can tell their friends, I went to space, which is more than we can say.
They should not have been called astronauts.
They can't be called astronauts.
They could have changed that. They could have in the build-up gone, guys, I'm so happy that I worked so hard with all of my songs that I can buy myself Uber to space. And then come back.
I'm so happy to be Oprah's
friend.
No,
because that's a lucky thing. I would love to do that.
But don't call yourself an astronaut.
But don't call yourself an astronaut, and don't be so brazen and pretend that you're fucking Neil Armstrong.
And start to lecture the rest of us.
One small step for man, foot sack. Don't.
Yeah, that's out of
because everybody wants to be the pillar, the light to follow.
Yeah, just go. This was
the one who goes. Everything changed because of Taylor.
You know what I would have said if I'd come back from. And I'm not even one of those people who really wants to go into space. I'm very happy on Earth.
I want to see the view. That's all I want to see. I'm a guy that likes the view.
If some rich billionaire said to me, hey, you want to go a little joyride up 11 minutes in space? I'd go, yes, of course.
Of
I
course.
wouldn't take it. And then when I got
Up into
back,
my penis.
the first thing I would say is, I am so grateful that I got to do this. Thank you to the oak who paid for it. Thank you to all those scientists who came before who made it possible. Just thank you. You don't know one of those people in that thing expressed any kind of gratitude. It was all like me, narcissist. Give me attention. I'm an astronaut.
Dog, the
it
fact
wasn't
that
just
they
a
had
trip.
matching
you know?
jumpsuits like
Come
there's
on.
some sort of Avengers.
It's stupid. It's just stupid. Just be grateful. It's like the first thing you do when something nice happens for you is you go, thank you, whether it's to God, whether it's to your friends, whether it's your family, whether it's just to yourself, quietly saying,
the aromat of
thank
happiness,
you.
my
There was
friend.
no fucking gratitude in that whole thing. It was all like, you land-bound humans.
You poors.
Entitlement.
You poors on the ground.
No, it's entitlement.
We see it here all the time as well. Like everywhere in the world, everybody deserves.
That's like the oak who pitches up for your shows, and I'm not gonna laugh.
Yeah.
I'm here. These oaks. I've heard of the Goliaths. They're not funny. I'm not gonna laugh.
Yeah.
And that oak sits there in that audience, and even though he's inside, he's cracking up. He won't show it because he thinks it matters to you.
Yeah.
It's also I realize, and now that I'm 44, I realize that shame. Imagine you didn't have so much going on in your life. Imagine you had nothing going on in your life to the point where you had to come to somebody's show and try and ruin it. Like, I really just wish for everybody, like, all of those body corporate people, those people who are body corporates,
the ones who we got to know during COVID.
Yeah, man. Then I feel for those people, because I'm like, I really just wish that somebody has something that they're passionate about, something that they excite them, something that they're looking forward to. Those are all of the things that I think make up this journey. So find something that is unnecessary, that you don't have to explain to anybody, that makes you happy. For me, I'm a petrolhead. I'm a car guy. Nicholas and I have arguments about cars. Nicholas goes, but why are you not selling this car? You're buying another car. I say, my man, I don't have children. Your children go to school. I drive German things.
This is your thing.
We are not the same.
Listen, I just got to correct you both here. Carl DeSantos says, Gareth is not clever. He's knowledgeable. He said some properly dumb shit here today. You oaks don't listen every day. I do.
Carl.
So there's Carl. He's just correcting you.
You think clever people just say clever things the whole day? That's very boring. That is very boring. We say stupid things because it's luck and it's funny. We spoke about a woman wearing a big nappy. Carl. And then the thing that I want to question intelligence is the brother that comes here every day to listen to Gareth and then comment on a comment like that. Dos Santos, we're going to check your life, pa. We're going to Dos Santos. No, you must think about your life.
Okay, here we go.
So before we go to the next, just to add to that, I once was driving behind a Porsche Cayenne GTS, and I saw it from a distance. And as a car guy, I was also like, it was the early days of Cayennes. I was like, this thing's amazing. And as I came close, I was coming from Sunset, and as I got close, his number plate said, "For you to envy." And then
I think I've seen that same.
I think I know that, bruh. Shout out Pablo.
Immediately, it made me just go, shame, man. Like you bought this Porsche Cayenne not
to
for
impress
you,
other people on the road.
You bought it for the rest of us to envy. And I was like, I love your car. I don't envy you or your life, because I don't know what you have to go through every day to afford and have this car. But it just made me so sad for you that's in it. Then I'm like, that can't be how you live your life.
That's
for other
so
people.
right.
I'm like, do for you. Do the thing, like Jay says, find your thing that's for you. To hell with everybody else. What people think, I don't care.
And this is for Dos Santos. Be like Gareth Cliff.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to tell you he drives Range Rover. You read it in the newspaper when he gets arrested there on the N14 for doing 180. That's how you do it. You don't post it on Instagram.
182.
You enjoy
182.
They
182.
post it in the
Thank you very much.
newspaper.
I'll never forget. I was so proud of you. Gareth, that day is the day I knew this guy is going to be my friend for a long time.
Well,
when we're doing the 182, it's the way you were so casual about it, like, yo, guys. I was slowing down, actually. That's when they caught me.
And they, the favorite thing for me that happened out of that whole situation was that Julius Malema called me the next morning, and he said, "Chief, do you need a lift?" So I asked him, "No, I'm all right." And then he said, "There are many people who don't like you, and there are many people who don't like me. But there are more people who like you, and there are more people who like me."
Oh,
and I thought
so
that's
good.
You know, sometimes
That's
you get like
so good.
You get some proper philosophy from even the
The most
politician
unlikely
who's,
source.
you know, will always call you when you're down, and that's clever. It's very
we spoke
smart
Kak about him off air.
Yeah,
but I really do feel for the guy, because sometimes you find a clever out that's born just 5 seconds too late or 5 seconds too early, and they just miss their little gap and their little window. Because that's a clever brother.
That's another reason I'm
That's
telling
a
you not
clever
to worry
Odette.
about inequality, because it could be just the stroke of luck that propels someone in this direction or in that direction.
And in the history of time, even the poorest of the poor are living better than anybody lived
Spot
a
on.
century ago.
100%.
What do you mean, you cock in porcelain? What?
They would have said
You
to you that
cock in porcelain.
if you'd met the King of France at Versailles in 1690.
That guy.
I can
What does he
make your
know
shit
about two-ply?
disappear.
Let me tell you something. He had everything is covered in gold, marble. He had silver furniture made of solid silver. He wore ermine fur robes. He had those long wigs.
Yes. His
Louis
Netflix was a
the
person
14th,
that used
right?
to
They
walk
called
in
him
the morning
the
and make jokes.
Sun King. Do you know how he died?
Tell me.
For
In the long run.
about 6 or 7 weeks, he was lying in bed. He lived a long time. He had a very long reign, but he was old, and he had ulcerous sores on his legs. And they didn't have antibiotics, so they didn't know how to treat him.
Blisters.
So his leg got septic and started to stink and got worse and worse and worse until eventually the infection was so bad that he died from that. That's not a
Gangrene.
nice
Gone.
way to die.
No, terrible.
These days, there is no reason for anyone on earth to die of that.
Right, we have an uncle that they cut off his leg the other day.
Just for shits
no,
and
you know,
giggles?
you know they warn you.
Oh,
You have the
diabetic.
warning
Yeah,
shots,
yeah.
warning
Is it the
shots.
diabetic?
Like you love
Yeah,
alcohol.
yeah.
Bah, they take the leg. They take the leg.
Did he have gout as well?
My point is, I don't even.
Possibly.
I don't know. He probably did. But the point is in this day and age, we have a time where you don't even have to stop drinking.
No, you can carry on.
He didn't stop drinking. He didn't stop the lifestyle.
You
He
can
was,
carry on.
And now he's just like, they see me rolling.
And he's okay as long as he
But
can drink.
balance is
it's
hundreds
literally
now.
so he's literally okay. Yeah, they put ramps in. Yeah, they had to make.
But he chose the leg.
adjustments. But he chose
chose the drink over the leg.
He chose the drink over the leg. Lives in an impoverished area.
Yeah.
He's not a king. And a couple of 100 years ago,
He would have been dead.
he would have been dead. And he's not a king.
Yeah.
So you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
There we
You
go.
see, and again, this brings us full circle back to Desperate Housewife. Even me. So we talk about this gratitude, acceptance, perspective. Gap is what we call it in our show.
Yeah.
And you spoke about gratitude. Like if you can wake up every morning and first have a little bit of gratitude before you start stressing about what you don't have. First celebrate what you do have, what you have already done.
So he goes, have I got rum and coke?
100%.
Yes.
100%.
I'm short the leg.
But I'll tell you what,
I
the way
got
he
rum
talked
and
about
coke.
that rum and coke, and the way he talked about cars now, that's
When
where
I
he
go
gets
drink and
he
drive.
gets like extra levels
Joy.
of happiness.
Joy.
Yeah.
And I've accepted it.
And that's
Because
so,
acceptance.
but
I'm
that's
not,
so lovely that you know that about you,
and you don't have to
Yes.
pretend.
because that for you to envy Oak,
Thank
he
you.
still doesn't know where to get his
Thank
happiness.
you.
Right?
That's what I'm
Thank
saying.
you.
Nobody teaches us this thing. We don't understand it as well as we should. We assume
And
we
you
know.
why do we care what Gareth thinks about rum and coke?
No.
Why do I care what
Anybody.
Gareth thinks about rum
Do you
and
know
coke?
how I feel about rum and coke?
Tell me.
I feel like forevermore, whenever I think of rum and coke, I'm going to think about you smiling and having one.
Yeah.
And that gives me, now I care about rum and coke like I didn't give a shit.
Can I
before.
honestly tell you one of my favorite rum and coke stories of all time?
Yeah, let's hear.
So I'm very good friends with David O'Sullivan.
Okay.
David O'Sullivan wrote Rassie Erasmus's book.
Yes.
David O'Sullivan tells me Rassie Erasmus is at his house. They write in the book. They take a break. Rassie Erasmus says, "Worry David, man. Wie se red uit is hy?" David said, "No, that's my friend Jason Goliath's red out." Rassie Erasmus says, "Do you think he'll mind if I have a rum and coke?" Rassie Erasmus has drank from my...
That's amazing.
Do you understand the joy? Like real, keep all your money, keep all your nice things.
That's so
There's nothing that made me happier
That's so
than and I'm just like, it's so figure that out, acceptance, figure that out, and then perspective. Don't think about the cable, think about the passport.
Yeah.
Perspective.
I got a friend who sent me a message, a voice note on Thursday. He and his wife, he's my age, so he's 47.
Yeah.
He and his wife have just had like a surprise pregnancy. She's a couple of years younger than him, but they weren't expecting to ever have kids.
Put
They've
one
always
past
had
the
like,
keeper.
they live in the UK. And I suddenly, here's where happiness comes from. I was so fucking happy for them.
Free joy.
Because it's got nothing to do with my life. They don't even live here anymore. They're in the UK. I don't see them that often. They're lovely people, right? They're just happy, lovely people. Every time I see them, it makes me smile. And I just took enormous joy without any purchase myself on anything, on their happiness.
Oh,
but that's just lovely. I lost a very, very good friend on Friday last week. Thabo Modisane, who was my executive producer on our show on 5FM. I met him at 702 years ago. I don't know any of the details of what happened to Thabo because family want to keep it very private. There's some sort of memorial on Friday. Maybe I'll know a little bit more. But Thabo Modisane was always joyful. And I knew that no matter how cuck I was feeling, no matter what was going on in the news or whatever else, we would find stuff to laugh about.
Yeah.
And the things that he and I laughed about were the most atrocious things that we could never put
Things
on
you can't
the
say in
show.
the world.
Yeah, that's the things that Nick and I love.
And I loved that guy. I loved working with him. It was a pleasure to have known Thabo Modisane. And when I think of him on Friday, I wasn't sad. I was sad that he's not here anymore. Selfishly, I won't get to see him again.
Yeah.
But I was so happy that I got to share in the time of Thabo Modisane.
Yeah,
that's fucking great, you know?
So great.
But that's I feel is one of the secrets. It's just trying to find your happiness in small spaces where for no reason. You don't have to be happy for your brows having a baby. Like at 47,
that's dangerous.
I'm 40
dangerous.
years old and I'm like,
right.
I can't even imagine.
I'm wearing a condom right now. I don't have
Can you
kids
imagine how
34.
tired he's going to be at the soccer matches?
He's
when-
tired now already.
Exhausted. Is your opa fetching you again today? Fuck it.
So, you know,
Yes.
I see too many people that are not willing to celebrate other people's wins or give you that false sense of, oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
And then turn around and go, oh, I should never have gotten it. I'm just like, that's going to steal your joy every time.
In the
Be
show,
happy for people, honestly.
we-
Like just have that
Yeah.
that
We
ability
mentioned
to
it-
appreciate.
we
other
mentioned it
people's
in the comedy show as the easiest way to tell if you love yourself or not. If you cannot celebrate the win of somebody you pretend to love or like in your circle, you don't love you. So somebody in your friend circle, work circle, family circle has a big win, your brain goes, why not me? You don't love yourself.
Yeah.
Then loving yourself is such an important thing.
Oh,
such an
come and
important,
watch this show.
such an important
Yes,
thing.
okay. This is
I
you
also
have
just
solved the world's
on the
problems here.
Thabo thing.
Yes.
We did a podcast episode yesterday
Oh,
where
yeah?
I spoke about I lost a best friend a couple of years ago to cancer, and his final words, he was 36, and the night before he died, I said to him, "Hey, bruh, final words," and he said to me, and I thought this was so important. He said,
These were his final words to you.
so I was leaving the hospice, and I said, I'm not going to come back because I don't want to see you beyond this. Give me your final words. And he just said,
Wow.
it wasn't long, but at least it wasn't boring. And I thought that was just because that when you spoke about Thabo, it made me think about that.
Yeah.
And it gave me such peace. And it also gave me such context. We don't have time. We think we have time. We don't even understand time. So we don't have long. Just make sure it's not boring.
Have fun and
Spot
be
on.
kind.
So
I
even
love
on
it.
bad days, laugh at nonsense.
I love it. Okay, so you actually you've given us the best therapy session in the whole fucking
You
world
gave
this
me,
morning.
bruh.
Yeah,
You
no, this
gave
has
me.
been,
Thank you,
All
Gareth.
right, so here's one last thing I want to leave you with. This is how kids were raised in the 1940s, I think it was.
Yeah.
So it's all black and white. The mum, the dad, the little boy, the little girl. Little boy's upset because again, it's his birthday. He wants something special. He wants to be made a fuss of.
Yeah.
This is what you do with children, and this is what
Love
you do
it.
with adults, by the way, as well. So take a look.
What is it you two?
Well, Mummy, tomorrow's my birthday, and I want to go to the circus. And tomorrow's not Margaret's birthday, and she wants to go to the pantomime. My birthday's in June, and there aren't any pantomimes in June.
Circus or pantomime?
Neither. We'll thrash them both soundly, lock them up in the attic, and go to the pictures by ourselves.
Isn't that right? That is what
So
you need to-
simple, so easy.
That is how you make yourself
So
happy,
simple,
right there.
so easy.
Listen, guys, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Just quickly, there are a couple of plugs we need to do here
Yeah,
for all
please,
the stuff
please,
that you
please.
guys are doing. So, first of all, Top Gear star in a reasonably priced car.
I mean, have you ever had a more dream job thing?
Yes, for you, this is perfect.
It is like literally like dream job vibes. So if you ever watch the TV show, we're doing an online version, but exactly the same as the TV show.
Okay,
all of your favorite stars.
But you really like you don't like reasonably priced cars.
No, but it's I love the segment. A star in a reasonably priced car, and that's because it's
I like
equalizer.
the idea of you in a Hyundai Getz or something.
It is a Swift, my friend. His nemesis. It's a Suzuki Swift. There's nothing Swift about the thing. You know what I mean?
I love it. All right.
So, but it's exactly like that. And the reason a reasonably priced car was the thing was because it's the great equalizer. It doesn't matter how well you drive, how bad you drive. We're going on a little track. And we're out at this place called Formula K in Panoni, which is this little track. We put the roll cage in, so it's exactly like the show. And then we'll have your favorite celebrities, mostly my favorite celebrities, coming on, have a leaderboard, get to find out about them, but also get to see them under the pressure of being competitive in a reasonably priced car, fighting with a clutch, fighting with a gearbox, just screeching around. If you'd like to come, I'd really love to have you on. Mr. 182 in your Range Rover. Mr. 8,000 Rand a tire, 23-inch. Shut your mouth. But it's just so exciting. So the guys from Top Gear South Africa magazine have finally got to put it together. It's been a long time in the works. And it's happening. So first episode out next month on YouTube. Go and follow Top Gear South Africa magazine.
I love it.
On YouTube already, please. And then Nicholas and I are doing the Happiness Economy, which is the stand-up comedy version of our podcast.
This is at the Peter Turin Theatre at Monte Casino.
Small theatre, intimate space.
And you're going from the 18th of June to the 6th of July.
100%. Yes.
But that sounds like a lot of time. If you don't get your tickets now, you're in big trouble.
No, it's just a tiny room, and we sell a lot of corporate packages. So just get your tickets, $200. We have tickets. Do the right thing. And if you enjoyed any part of today's conversation and you kind of like talking about mental wellness and talking shit,
because they go together.
Yes, they absolutely do at the moment. If they don't, you're doing it wrong. They're doing it wrong.
I just love what you guys are doing. Also, check out their podcast, which is also terrific. The happiness economy is what it's all about. And I think this morning, I don't think we've solved anything, but we've tried.
We've solved something for someone.
Gareth Cliff, you are, I still say Gareth for president.
Thank you, Lee.
I stand for you, dog, because you are smart, kind, and willing to learn and willing to debate. And that's all anybody needs to be. Be proud of what you know. Be open to learn. Nothing more, nothing less. If you expect
don't
more
listen
from
to
people,
other people's
you're looking for cack.
No, for real.
Gareth, I can suggest that you do this thing at 11 and tell people you woke up early. But then the comments wouldn't be in.
No, what is Lee going to do? Lee's
but you
awake
see, this
now.
happens live. I can't lie.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
And
do it for Lee. Do it for Roxanne. What's Roxanne saying?
She says we're here for a good time, not a long time.
I like that. I like
That's
that.
like your friend who
That's
gave
a
you the
person who
final
knows the
words.
taste of brandy. Love it.
Momberg.
Love it.
Yay.
Love
Do you
it.
ever worry that you ever worry that you drink too much?
Me? No, you know why? My father's an alcoholic. I know what drinking
so you
too
know
much
what that
looks
looks
like.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely don't drink too much. I really enjoy
Because
drinking.
I only do it on weekends, and then probably only one night a weekend, right? But I sometimes think,
your body will tell you. Huh?
So
At
I've been off alcohol for this year. Like
Really?
I've had 3 days of
why didn't we
drinking.
start the show with that?
he did 75 hard. We should have spoke about that. You did 75
I
hard.
did a 75 hard. It was fucking hard.
That's why he's looking so
but I
good.
had-
Look at me. Look at him.
On Monday, my old man and I went to play some pool. We had a couple of rum and cokes there. That was my 3rd time drinking for the year.
Sure.
And I woke up on Tuesday feeling like shit. But I was a brother that would.
Well, he felt like shit too, but
I would
that
drink.
was because he got a
He was sick.
got a cold or
but
something.
also
I was a brother that would drink weekends. I'd go during the week to catch the game.
you lost
the
your
Champions
fitness.
League,
It's like,
the-
yes.
You
it's
lost
like
your
going to the
drinking
gym. You
fitness.
Not
just
that I
gotta
lost
not-
my fitness. I was in the drinking space, healthy, strong. My old man was drunk. I was still sober. I'm like, shut,
So you
winning.
lost your drinking fitness.
I
Yeah.
know.
You lost your drinking fitness.
No,
Nicholas.
I didn't lose my drinking
You lost
fitness.
your drinking fitness.
You're an embarrassment.
I can
You are.
We're ashamed of
No.
you.
We used to be together in this thing. Now you
Yeah,
are spreading blasphemous words in the streets.
So I drink less now. That's what I'm saying. But yeah.
That was a
So
hell of a...
it's like Nicholas says, either go through hell for 75 days or keep drinking, my baby.
Yeah, just keep
I'll
going.
see you at the
Keep
finish
going.
line.
And like your uncle, just if the leg goes, the leg goes.
They see me rolling. We're doing 75% of our lives online. Gareth said it.
Yeah.
Where are you trying to walk to?
Just get into the goggles, the VR goggles.
Come on.
That,
believe.
You know what kind of women he's having sex with?
Any
in
kind
those
he
goggles.
wants, my friend. Not women who piss themselves 15 times a day. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that much.
All right, lovely. Okay, we have solved the world's problems. Okay,
Yeah.
I knew it would happen. Very good. It is none other than the amazingly talented and brilliant Nick and Jason Goliath. Thank you so much, guys. What a pleasure to
We
see
love
Thank
you.
you
We
so
love
much.
this.
What
And
an
we love all of
absolute
you. Thank
pleasure.
you.
Lots
This was
of fun.
lovely.
Enjoy
I
your
feel
Wednesday.
so
We'll
good.
see you on Friday morning, 6 a.m. bright and early.
Bye.
Bye.
De schoonmaker wil niet weten wat dat stinkt. Ze hoeft ook nooit te pissen, hoeveel ze dan ook drinkt. Dan zie ik haar weer lachen, wat hebben we een lol. Dan wit de hele meute, de zakje zit weer vol. Oei, mijn zakje zit weer vol. Mijn oma, die heeft een stoma. En dat ding, daar heeft ze ook niet zomaar.